Welcome, Ultra-ers, Switchy sisters, and Danonites alike to episode 47, a weekly episodic gaming adjacent livestream podcast show. This is Switch 2 Ultra on Tuesday nights through the air of spring. We had to take some time off last week on account of nobody aging anymore in the future moving forward, but more importantly, we have all had the opportunity, I believe, to watch the Super Mario Galaxy movie. I actually saw it twice with different groups of people, and tonight's episode will be a spoiler-filled discussion all about that, since it seems like the last couple weeks have been leading up to this movie. If you haven't seen it and want to avoid spoilers, right now, go to the movie theater and watch A24's The Drama. It's fantastic, and it's horrific, and don't look up anything about it. Go in completely blind, and then report back with that movie. I am your co-parent, BHultra.
And I am your co-parent, Switchy.
And I believe right now we're still waiting on Dan, a little bit of technical difficulties. That's what happens when nobody ages anymore. I'd also like to cover that the last time we went back to watch the March 2025 Nintendo Direct and honed in on the 4 games that have not been released yet. One of those games, actually I don't have it brought up. If I can bring it up here, it should be, I know this right off the top of my head. This is, of course I have it right here, The Eternal Life of Goldman. That game, we kind of mostly as a bit, maybe not or otherwise, brought up this game as like, oh yeah, this is one of 4 games that was announced in that first direct that we haven't seen yet. And one of those games, The Eternal Life of Goldman, actually got a new trailer 2 days after the last Switch 2 Ultra, but it is still scheduled for some time in 2026, just a vague 2026. Still no update on Witchbrook. However, we'll keep on trying, all right? Every week, we're going to give you your regular Witchbrook update. And on top of that, the other 2 games that had not been released have stories. Tomodachi Life Living the Dream releases officially this Thursday, but is also leaked out all over the internet. But I'm sure we'll have more to say about leak culture later in this, if it pertains to a certain airbender or a certain theatrical window. I actually don't know why I don't have this one opened up either, but we do have a link to this as well. Within that same week, or rather before that, on top of that, just on a random Thursday, pre-orders for, I'm going to zoom in on this, pre-orders for this game, Rhythm Heaven Groove, went up on Nintendo's digital storefront for only $40. And within the same week, we missed, or rather, it was not announced, but they decided, or the week we missed is what I'm getting at, that, where am I in my notes? Okay, pre-orders for Rhythm Heaven Groove were posted on the Nintendo digital storefront for $40, and within the same week that we missed last time, Nintendo decided to shift their pricing philosophy. Physical versions of most Switch games will remain around $70, whereas digital versions will still steer more towards a traditional $60. The fact that Rhythm Heaven is cheaper than the traditional Switch games and was announced for release via their storefront could point towards them catering, or rather creating a greater safety net for their less popular series. And I honestly think that is sort of been the not the thorn in the side, but whenever people come into the chat and ask me personally, just from an opinion piece, if I think we're ever going to get a new F-Zero game, for example, the issue is always that F-Zero is not as popular as the major Nintendo franchise. And in 2025, I wasn't sure if Nintendo was willing to make a slightly cheaper game and sell it for like $30, because that's what a potential F-Zero game would have to be. But again, the fact that Rhythm Heaven is cheaper than those games and is a safety net for the less popular series, what could this mean? For example, the Star Fox game prediction postulated by infamous leaker Nate the Hate that we talked about last time. He said on his podcast that a new Star Fox could be announced and released before the next General Direct, which is lightly slated for the summer. Could a game as big as Star Fox, after the fallout of the Galaxy movie, be announced? Could it perhaps run for 30 or 40? Probably not, if it's going to be a Switch 2 game. But now we have this release date for Rhythm Heaven Groove. Did it say what it was? It doesn't say it here. I think we said it earlier. I'm going to put it on our official thing. Is it July 2nd? Is that what it said?
I think that's what it
Okay,
was.
July
Double check.
2nd.
Yes,
We'll go ahead.
July 2nd.
Right. Well, now we can adhere to our weekly goal as well, or rather what we've been bearing up to, because right now, this Tuesday, it is April 14th. This Thursday, the big release is going to be Tomodachi Life, Living the Dream. And then I have a whiteboard way behind me on the other side of the room. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, I think 4 more Thursdays until the release of Yoshi and the Mysterious Book on the 21st. I will be in Atlanta when that comes out, so I'll have to wait until the next week. But now we can move these around a little because we still don't have anything slated for April 23rd, April 30th, May 7th, May 14th, May 28th. We have, like we said, if I'm going to check on my calendar, because I think I did put this down because it's an important game that I wanted to keep track of. Yes, it is July 2nd. So that is still, we're going to need to move these because this one has a traditional release date and these are just assuming due to that leak that they will come out in the summer. Now, either you, Dan, or Switchy, have your opinions changed at all on the potentiality of a Star Fox game now just randomly releasing prior to the summer?
Prior to the summer, I'm like, if the game sucks, then yes. If it's like actually going to be a game that people are excited about, then no. Like if it's some like throwaway shit, then yeah, I could see them doing it. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not very good at predicting, it seems. But I think if they do, and it's not beyond the pale. I think if they do decide to do a big return for Star Fox, they're going to try and make some noise about it. I think they probably want it to be during a direct, but I honestly don't know just because they seem to be relying on directs less and less these days.
Do you think that we're going to get one before the summer? A direct?
Before the summer? A direct or the Star Fox
What do you
game?
mean by before the summer?
Let's say before June. Like at some point in April or May, do you think we're going to get a direct?
No.
I really don't know.
Well, do you mean like maybe
really
a partner
don't know.
direct?
A partner direct,
Like,
I could see that happening.
Like an actual direct.
I mean, like a regular general direct where they just announce their slate of games because, I mean, we're looking at this schedule now, and what I had thought before is, okay, Pokemon Champions has been released. We could also talk about that as well. I'll be honest, I'm not as tuned in to the competitive Pokemon side of things, but I will, and I haven't played it, but I'll do my best. And we knew that we now had the release date for Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, which in and of itself, the Tomodachi Life game had its own dedicated direct. But Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, just one day, they uploaded a trailer that showed the release date. Similarly, the release date for Rhythm Heaven Groove was just posted on their storefront and ready for pre-orders. So I don't think it's impossible. I would say about Star Fox as a video game franchise is maybe on the level of Yoshi, maybe a little under that. So setting this precedent,
Definitely under. Well, actually, I was about to be all smug, but I can
right?
kinda
We're
see where
like
it's coming
smash
from.
brained about it, but like asking the regular gamer if they knew. Well, we could talk about that when it comes to the movie as well. I'm really surprised about this Star Fox resurgence. But now that my thinking was, okay, we have Tomodachi Life and we have a game releasing in late May. So we have at least until May. After that, there's not so much, right? We don't have a release date for Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, Splatoon Raiders, the Duskbloods, and Pokemon Winds and Waves is like a year down the line. Next year. Even if it comes out in January, that's a ways away. So my thinking is we would get a direct in maybe not the summer per se. Like I view the summer as starting on June 20th because that's like technically legally when it starts. Although, you ask the average person, they'll just say June is when summer starts. And the Nintendo Switch 2 released on June 5th last year. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got a direct, if not on that same day, maybe that same week. Because, like I said, we have all of these releases that were announced in either the June Direct or the April Direct or the September Direct leading up to now. And after Yoshi, we don't have anything else. Like, even if they on Twitter or on the Nintendo Today app announce the release date for Fire Emblem or Splatoon or Duskbloods, these are just games we already know about. And it's not impossible that Nintendo could just follow this pattern of just announcing games randomly, but at a certain point there have to be games that are too big for them to do that. and I'm gonna plant it somewhere in the summer, whether that be June or July, just because that seems to be where the buck stops right now.
All right, hear me out.
Yes.
If they're gonna do a Star Fox game before a direct and not hype it up, they'll probably do what I think they did with Pikmin 3 Deluxe. They'll drop it randomly, but it's not gonna be a new game. If you ask me, it'll be a remake, remaster deluxe port of Star Fox Zero from the Wii U era.
Oh,
And then also, I don't
interesting.
know, maybe Guard if they can figure that out, but I don't think they care about that. I don't think they care about Guard.
Right, but with the reasoning for
But I can see them doing that because that wouldn't really like break the news either. That would just be like a thing that they drop.
right of one of the well, I mean, I haven't of the Star Fox games I played. I was about to say like, oh, I haven't played a lot of them, but like looking back, there's not a lot of them, so I did play most of them. That the conceit of most Star Fox games is that it's a short game that you could run through in a couple hours, but they have splitting paths that you can follow through multiple different playthroughs of the game. And there are really different philosophies, not when it comes to game design, but the way that people talk about games or rather view games. And this is, I know that these apps and these algorithms exist solely to like upset you so that you keep scrolling. And I'm never gonna like, I am a pro piracy person, the triple P's, if you will. And I'm seeing nothing but people getting the ROM for Tomodachi Life Living the Dream on my feed, and all the comments arguing with, I guess, non-existent people about actually it's okay that we're doing this, which it is, like, it's fine. But I saw one comment that's like, yeah, well, Nintendo is greedy. Why would I spend $60 on a game that looks like this? That's the same amount of a game with graphics like Baldur's Gate. And it's like, I think we've really lost the plot on why games are charged the way they are. But the reason I bring it up is less about how a game looks and what the game is structurally, and more about people are really into the idea of having like one game, of having this game that they play for hundreds of hours. And if Star Fox is a couple hour experience, if you just want to beat it, I think it's possible that they could just release it. I don't think they're going to shadow drop it and say like it's out now, but I think there's a possibility they do the Yoshi thing where a trailer just shows up on their YouTube page and then it's like, oh, this game comes out in a month. And then people can do their own speculation, because Nintendo really set, I mean, that's why we're here. In a way, we're a cog in that machine, that they have an infrastructure set up already that they don't need to spend nearly as much on marketing, because the marketing will happen around them anyway. Especially when it comes to Star Fox. And we're going to talk about the movie primarily, but before we do that, what we did last time on Switch 2 Ultra, which is about 2 weeks ago, was we went back through the March Direct, the final Nintendo Switch 1 Direct, a year after that had happened, to see what had released, what hadn't released, what was announced, and what wasn't announced. And it only makes sense to do the same for the April 2025 Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. So I have gone through that Direct and just pinpointed the games that either haven't been released at all or haven't been released on the Switch 2. And there are 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, well, 7 games that showed up in that Direct that were properly announced with a title that have not showed up yet. 8, if you consider Yoshi and Poochie's Woolly World showing up here at the top of this Direct on this little scrolling thing. So a year later, do we think that this was a planned Switch game, or is a planned Switch game, or is this just legitimately a mistake?
I think it might have just been a mistake.
That they just nabbed the box art without thinking?
Kinda, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it could be a lot of things, but I don't know. Like, at this point, I don't know. They might have just needed to fill some shit in, you know?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is it could be a mistake in that they just grabbed the wrong one, but they have a Woolly/crafted Yoshi game that's on the Switch. But the thing that gets me is, like, these are specifically, like, menu screen icons for all of these games. And for this art, I mean, I'm sure they have an entire reservoir, or all of the production art, and all of the promotional art they have for these games. But the fact that like it doesn't have any 3DS branding on it, from what we know about them, which is not a whole lot, just, randomly releasing a remake or a remaster of Donkey Kong Country Returns, I think it's entirely possible that they just have a port of this 3DS game and are just looking for a random month to release it, probably on the Switch 1. Unless it was outright a mistake. As far as all the other games that had their own spotlights, we have Elden Ring, the Tarnished Edition. And this is the big, oh my gosh, this game can run on the Switch too. Like how the Switch 1, its initial pitch, its initial trailer, used footage of Skyrim. In 2016, that was really groundbreaking, the idea that Skyrim could be played on a mobile console. And Elden Ring, which won several awards and just like the big game of the last couple of years, is that the equivalent for this modern age? But still, I don't know if it got I think within the Direct it said that it would be coming out within the year, and it's 2026 and we still don't have a release date, despite it saying the release date is 2026. And I wonder why that is, because I've played the game and I imagine it is a lot bigger than other third parties like Resident Evil Requiem. I've been playing Requiem on my Xbox, but I've heard that it actually runs pretty good on the Switch too. I just, I've been spurned before. I didn't want to risk it. On top of that, a game like Borderlands 4 has been released on other consoles. It just hasn't been released on the Switch 2 yet. And then there are games that haven't been released at all. Games like Enter the Gungeon 2. And this is sort of a I don't know if sweet spot it is the word per se, but when I first got my Nintendo Switch 1 in Christmas of 2017, people always big up that launch as like, this is one of the greatest Nintendo launches. But if you didn't like Splatoon or ARMS, it was mainly Odyssey and Breath of the Wild. And to be fair, Odyssey and Breath of the Wild are some of the greatest games ever made. But if you really wanted to spruce up that library, the appeal of the Switch to me was a modern console that you could take anywhere and you could easily remove the controllers and play with other people. So I would go to school all the time with my Nintendo Switch, and like during rehearsal or in between classes, cafeteria, whatever, would hand other people Joy-Cons and I would just download all the multiplayer games I could find. And that's why I got just a lot of, I don't want to say slop, but random games that I probably otherwise wouldn't have played. And on top of that, early on, and I think for most of the Switch's lifespan, it is a really undersold market, is that it's a really good indie machine. Like before major games came out, I would use it to play Enter the Gungeon, which was a game that I traditionally wouldn't have played otherwise. I was like, oh, it's on the eShop, I'll get it. That and Celeste. I played all of Celeste exclusively on my Switch 1. So I'm interested in this, not because I'm super excited for the conceit of Enter the Gungeon 2, but more I just like the dramatic poetry of it all coming out on the Switch 2. Similarly, there's Star Seeker, an Astroneer Expedition. On their page here, they say that you can wishlist it on Steam, PlayStation, Xbox. Mysteriously, the Nintendo Switch logo nor the Nintendo Switch 2 logo are nowhere to be found on this website. And then we have other games like Human Fall Flat 2. Human Fall Flat was another one of those indie games that I got really early into the Switch lifespan. So even more, I don't know if irony is the word per se. And then we have another From Software game in the Duskbloods, but this one is being developed in tow with Nintendo and is a major exclusive. And again, like we saw on our guide here, we still don't know. We haven't heard anything more about it since that April Direct. But the main one I want to focus on here is one that I have technical, emotional, vested interest in, and we did our 3DS draft on the last episode of Switch 2 Ultra, and both of you discussed a lot of Phoenix Wright. I have never played a proper Phoenix Wright game, but I'm at least aware of the sphere, of the idea, of
You
the...
should. It's
That's
good.
what I've heard, yeah. We've definitely got some comments on that podcast. But another game that... I'm glad we pushed this back a little bit, because last week I was ready to say, like, yeah, we haven't heard anything about this game. But since that moment we got a new trailer posted on April 10th for Professor Layton and the New World of Steam. Now, I have played a little bit more Professor Layton than I have Phoenix Wright. solely just because someone very close to me loves Professor Layton. It is like their favorite series in that Nintendo sphere. Do you guys have any emotional ties, any ties in general? Would you call yourselves Layton fans or just tentative Layton understanders?
I've played a little bit. I never finished it, and this was years ago. I played a little bit of the Ace Attorney and Layton game. I never actually finished it. And I think I've had a couple of the games. I've never actually really played them.
Okay.
So I've played the crossover complete, but I also so I DS and I just never got around to playing them. But I have played another game fully, and that is Layton Rose Mystery Rooms, and that is a very interesting game. It is a Professor Layton game, and basically name alone, it is literally just like X-Ray Ace Attorney, but with Layton characters that aren't produced in that one game, and it's only for mobile.
Oh. Can you still get that game, or is it gone now?
It's a very interesting experience. No, you can still buy the game. You can
buy
it right now.
Because I was under the impression, and again, just like a barely understanding, being on the outskirts of the Layton community, I thought it was like a Mario and Luigi situation where the company that made them like folded. Is that true, or they just like weren't making Layton games anymore?
I don't know.
Actually, it was something.
I don't remember, because isn't it the same company that does Yokai?
Yeah, Level 5. And that is what I mean, it looks very Yokai.
Yeah, it's the same
here.
company that does Yokai, and that seems like very popular.
Yeah, well, therein lies the rub a little bit. I mean, you see it here that this original Layton art that was featured in the DS and 3D games, they do a transition here. It's like, oh, we're jumping into the future, and now everything looks worse. Not only does it look a little bit ugly and not in a fun way in like this 3D space, but also the reason that this has gotten mixed reviews, this trailer, amongst the, and I have a resident, I've been conversing with resident Professor Layton expert, Twitter user TOD's Nuts, who feels very strongly about Professor Layton. And we have the website here of additional information, of trailers, of characters, of breakdowns. The main issue that people have been taking with this is that prior to this game coming out, there was another game called Decapolis that featured large amounts of AI used in the pitch for it and the marketing specifically. Yeah, there's the YouTube chat. Level 5 is sadly using AI, which takes us to the story of Level 5 CEO says games are now being made 80 to 90% by AI, making aesthetic sense a must for developers. So, I'm not a game developer. That can't be true. That's not right.
I'd have to wonder.
That can't be true.
80 to 90% by AI? Like, maybe your company, but...
Back end? Like, specifically from the back end? Because there's no fucking way that 80 to 90% is, like, from the artistic, musical standpoint. Even if it does look AI, there's no way that 80 to 90% AI can...
Yeah. Because I would buy that, like... I would buy that games are like hella like vibe coded nowadays. Like that wouldn't surprise me, but like I don't know. I mean, at least with assets, I don't think there's really that many smoking guns. At least with big releases. I remember this kind of reminds me. I remember I saw a video of like I think it might have been like Dr. Dre. I don't want to say I'm sure. It was like some kind of like old school like well known like hip hop producer. He was bringing up how like so many of his studio sessions have people using AI now, and like it wasn't necessarily even generating the music, but it was often for like lyrics or just kind of like bouncing ideas. And if we're going by that, like I wouldn't be surprised if it's pretty common now, but definitely not art yet, at least not on a large scale where they're just like having like all the art being generated.
Well, that was a controversy with Expedition 33, is that a lot of I think the story was their placeholder textures were AI, and I don't like that. That's really annoying. Granted, if you play the game, there's no AI in it, so that doesn't really factor into the gameplay. But it just like it seems so pointless if you're using like, oh, we needed a stone texture just while we were developing the game as a placeholder. If it's a placeholder, you can really use anything. And I really don't understand that. As far as like using like stock images even.
Yeah,
Uh,
if I were them, I would have just like used something from like a free library of like stock of just to kind of
yeah.
we make your own textures and stuff.
Because, like, that's one thing, right? If you're... I still don't like it. Obviously, I don't really like any AI usage, but the idea of, like, oh, it's a placeholder. Oh, it's just, like... whenever... What you just said made me think of that... Oh, man. Is it Crush 40, the band that does all the Sonic music? That one, like,
I think
temp
so, yeah.
version of the Sonic Heroes intro, where they have the general feel of what they want the song to sound like and the instruments, but they don't have any lyrics. So the original cut of it is just him going, "Hope my feet don't touch the ground." Like, that's the video. And it's like, oh yeah, he knows what he wants it to sound like, but just filling it. Like, you could do that even. But for me, and this is something we talked about with our good, close, personal best friend Anders on the show, that seeing AI in like advertisements and marketing makes the product seem cheaper, and it kind of makes it seem like a scam too. So specifically that they lent really hard into it when promoting a game or like showing off the conceit or the pitch of a game is not only concerning, but it's also like not smart. It's very strange, and I've seen that a lot with... This is such a non-factor because the company's going under anyway. But it feels like a bankruptcy indicator now. Like when I see Chuck E. Cheese doing AI-generated videos, I don't think it's because they're on the cusp of technology. I'm like, oh yeah, of course, it's Chuck E. Cheese. They're going under within the year. There's no way. And there's just a lot of arguments to be had there. But I do not have the emotional ties to the Layton series, but let me tell you, people who really love Layton, this is a real... shot in the heart, specifically because there hasn't been a new Professor Layton game in a very, very long time. And on top of that, it just doesn't, like, look great. But that's more down to personal preference.
It really doesn't. It just looks ugly.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many little things that look bad. It doesn't look terrible in 3D. It's just that, like, some of the models... The Luke model looks really bad.
Yeah.
Like, it is shocking how bad that Luke model looks. Like, I know he's more...
Those sections are like Fairly Odd
Like,
Parents when
like
they want to do the Matrix spin around them, so they like switch it out for really uncanny looking 3D models. It's like I see what they're doing. They're going for a shading that makes it look like it's supposed to be hand drawn, but it just doesn't. It doesn't look good. It's really weird. And Layton is like, from the ones that I've played just on the DS, it seems like it's mostly story cut between puzzles. I don't know if the puzzles are going to be AI or nothing, but yeah, it just doesn't look great.
Puzzles were designed by Quiznock. I don't actually know what that means.
Oh yeah, so I think what I heard, again from Resident Expert, is that the person who developed the puzzles for all of the original or all of the Layton games up to this point had passed between the release of this one and the last one. So there is a new team making the puzzles, but I don't know what Quiznock is. Led by Quiz King and Tokyo University, Takuja Izawa. Quiznock is a media platform that brings together entertainment and knowledge. Guided by the concept of learning starts with fun, it shares daily articles and videos designed to spark curiosity and open the door to new discoveries. Its YouTube channel has over 2.34 million subscribers. All right, well, let's look into this. Let's see Quiznock. What are they hiding?
I've never heard of them before. Ever.
It sounds like, oh, I see. YouTubers. It kind of sounds like it's, like New York Times. Like, oh, they have, like, daily puzzles on their website. Let's see. Let's see if we can make heads or tails of any of this. Alright, well, all you need to know is they are developing the puzzles for the game. I'm trying to think of an equivalent. If they made, like, I don't know, like a new Danganronpa game, and they're like, Mr. Beast made all the puzzles for this one, or made all the challenges. Again, I know nothing about the series. Yokai Watch 1 for Switch used AI upscaling. Okay, so Level 5 is leaning really hard into this. But that is
It
what.
did. I remember that.
Well, that's what we know about. I remember there was a period of time where people were pulling for Jibanyan in Smash, and I thought he could be the next Pikachu. I mean, as far as like Pokemon competitors, it's definitely lasted the longest. Maybe not as popular the whole time, but this is all very jarring and strange. But at least we got. There's more information about this game after that previous direct, for better or for worse. Most would argue worse, but those are most of the primary stories we have. I mean, the main thing we want to cover here, obviously, is that I'm not making assumptions. Right? We've all had the opportunity to see the Mario Galaxy movie.
Yeah.
Okay, I saw Dan move, but okay, there we go. It was like a weird little cave echo. Your character moved and then it bounced off the walls. Well, obviously it's hard to go into these without having any preconceived notions, and I think when you go into a movie expecting it to be good and it's like a little bad, you're a lot more upset. And when you go into a movie expecting it to be really bad and it's like kind of okay, it makes it seem a lot better. And I honestly, most of what I have to say isn't so much about the movie itself, which I thought was like fine. Honestly, I think it's just on the same level as the previous Mario movie, and I didn't necessarily expect anything better or worse from that. And I've seen the same argument, and I'm really not trying to make this argument. I don't like want to be one of those people online. It's like, oh, dude, it's a kids movie. Who cares? Like, why does it even need to be good? It's just for kids. I don't believe that at all. Obviously, as a fan of animation, I understand that it can still be very high quality while still technically being a product for children. However, I didn't like expect it to be like super really good. Again, about the same level as the previous movie. And the fact that I've been seeing people online be not disappointed but angry, the specific statement or testament I've seen is like, wow, Nintendo fucked up their one opportunity to adapt the greatest game of all time. And that specifically rubs me the wrong way because I don't understand what
They
like
were
the
never gonna do it right.
also like the game exists. Like, what do you mean adapt
Dude, actually,
the game?
that argument specifically pisses me off. I'm gonna be totally honest because
yeah, of
like
course.
I don't know. Okay, maybe
It
this
pisses me
maybe this is me being smug. Maybe this is me. Oh, I don't know where Dan went. Is Dan okay? Okay, Dan, are you alright?
He
Did I
got
piss you
so
off?
angry.
I pissed off Dan so bad.
He had to go blow his stat.
Okay, because like here's the thing. Maybe this is me having like a superiority complex or me being like, huh, you care about this thing that I'm not particularly passionate about. But I don't know how anyone really saw the trailers for this movie and thought like, oh, this is going to be a really faithful adaptation of Super Mario Galaxy. Just straight up.
Even
like,
that,
I
like,
guess I can understand that it's like a fair criticism, or I can understand the criticism, but I'm like, did you like walk in the theater expecting that? I don't know. I mean,
well, just the idea of like that there needs to be like, oh, they need to adapt it to the screen. Like, oh, this was their one chance to adapt. Like the video game exists. It makes sense if you're like, oh, I want an adaptation of the FNAF lore or the story of The Last of Us. But I don't understand the idea that like Mario Galaxy needs an adaptation when like Mario Galaxy compared to the other 3D Marios has a story. They snuck lore in there last minute, which they kind of undid in this one. Sorry to all the people that really like. Oh, by the way, spoilers for the movie, so everyone stop watching.
And they also undid it in Mario Galaxy 2.
Yeah,
it's like,
but like there's like I don't like.
You guys want to hear my?
I didn't get all of that, but I'd love to hear whatever you're about to say.
No, I was saying, do you want to hear about my super duper?
Yes. You are cutting out a little bit, but yes.
Everyone says that Mario Galaxy has this amazing, well-told story, and I don't disagree. I think it is a very good story. I think it's very well told. But if we're talking about the and you look at Mario Galaxy and you compare it to what came before it, Mario Sunshine has a way more complex, intricate. Like, if you look back and like take a look at Ender's Scheme, like that is a way more like weirdly laid out, complex, intricate story than pretty much the straightforwardness of what Mario Galaxy story is.
Yeah.
I think there's a donkey clip for this. Like,
Well, there's
did
certainly
you guys see that clip where he's talking about like the plot of Mario versus the story of Mario?
yeah. Well, I mean, if you guys
Well,
want to
no, that
watch
kind
it,
of reminds me because like all things considered, when you think about Mario Sunshine just have like a much more straightforward voice narrative, and Mario Galaxy, I'd say narrative wise, it's much more simplistic. There's not as much of a like scheme going on. I
right.
think what people say when they like the story of Mario Galaxy, I think they just
Right,
kind
yeah.
of like the vague set pieces and the vague ambiance.
Well,
And in
that's
that sense, I agree. The quiet sadness of Super Mario Galaxy
yeah.
is genuine. I think it is genuinely, like, Mario Galaxy in general is just an artistic feat. I think it's a gorgeous game. It has beautiful music. On some level, I guess I kind of understand the people who are more bitter about this because, like, I think there is something very serene and beautiful about Mario Galaxy that isn't really explored in the movie. But I don't know, at least for me personally, I prefer the Mario movies just being like a really wide net, hodgepodge of ideas than them really trying to capture a specific game.
Yeah, I
Personally.
didn't go into this expecting it to be a movie adaptation of Super Mario Galaxy. I expected it to be the sequel to the Super Mario Brothers movie. And
Mhm.
Mario
And that
Galaxy is not a good game because it has a really good story. It's just a really fun game. And I've been seeing the same discussion happen this week that happens all the time about what video games are art and whether or not video games are. And people often equate like a grand narrative to it being artistic. Like the only games that warrant being art are the ones that have a story. The only video games that are art are ones that are like a movie or like a TV show, when the artistry of video games is entirely different. I love Super Mario Galaxy, but it's for gameplay and aesthetic purposes. The idea that, like, oh man, the fantastic narrative of Super Mario Galaxy, they fucked up their one adaptation. The best way that that story could be adapted is in a video game that you can play. And guess what? You could play that video game. But while you guys and the chat are bringing up Sunshine, I did like that while it is primarily like the structure of it is a galaxy movie where they just jump from galaxy to galaxy, it is interesting in retrospect that, well, first of all, I'm going to go over here real quick and add Mandabug to our list because Mandabug was in the movie along with these guys and no other enemies from the game. But the Honey Queen, 5 minutes maybe? Something close to that. That
Oh
entire
God,
sequence
less.
that entire sequence is really strange because
No, it was like 2-3 minutes, if that.
yeah,
It was
the
actually crazy.
Mario,
Extreme.
Luigi, Yoshi, and Toad roll up with Bowser, and Bowser's like, I will do labor in their stead, let them go, and then they go on the Mandabug into the Gateway Galaxy. And then the next scene, Bowser is taken by Bowser Jr. and freed, and then we never see the honeybee or any of the other bee workers again. And that wouldn't matter if they didn't do, like, the marketing is just strange. It wouldn't matter if they just didn't have a post where they're like, that's right, Issa Rae is playing the Honey Queen. Like, if it was just a little cameo where you point at the screen like Game & Watch, that was just like a little bit, that's fine. It's just weird that, honestly, like, just announcing Star Fox ahead of time is also very strange.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, part of me, at least with the Honey Queen thing, and I'm not super knowledgeable about this, so I could be totally wrong. I genuinely wonder if there's some like contract union shit with that, just because I think Issa Rae is like a notable enough name that I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a certain way she has to be credited. I kind of get the impression that might play a role in how these characters are advertised, because yeah, the Honey Queen, like, she probably has like fewer than 10 lines.
Yeah.
Like if you count just, complete instances where she's
for
talking
sure.
without like I don't know how long could that have been more than a day in the studio. Like, it's a pretty small role. And yeah, I mean, but she's still given this sort of like, here's her headshot, here's the character she's playing, she's the Honey Queen. So
Yeah.
I genuinely wonder if that's just a thing they have to do, even if it's kind of ridiculous.
I
Though,
get the
I mean, once
feeling that
again,
like they had
I'm
these
not super knowledgeable on how that works.
yeah, they had these short scenes with like the Honey Queen and Wart. And yeah, again, like I don't know when to know what goes into making a movie, but perhaps they had the script and the animation done. I know that often voice actors will record before they finish the animation, but I think it's possible that like they had Wart and the Honey Queen those scenes done, and then like sort of not last minute, but closer to the release of the movie, they brought in her and Luis Guzman. And then they were like, oh, we should announce this. Because Wart also, he's in it for a little longer, but it's sort of like a short, like Jabba's palace scene where there's just a casino for that one moment and Peach like fights them. And that's the Mario 2 section. That's what I wanted to say when we were talking about Sunshine. I really like that. Although Bowser Jr. has his Mario Wonder design, by the way, the Prowler sound doesn't show up in the movie. That was just in the trailer. That Bowser Jr. in this movie is sort of just an all-encompassing Mario Sunshine character. Like, he encapsulates that his one power is being able to paint with the paintbrush, and he uses it to paint the, I don't know if it has a particular name, but the piranha plant that's made of the icky paint-like goop, like that shows up in the movie, and it's from him. Similarly, that whole casino area
I
is
think
that
that's just like a goopy.
yeah, that's probably what it's called. Yeah. And the casino is just the Mario 2 section, down to Peach being attacked by ninjas and using turnips to fight. Like, it's just a little
And
reference.
when you think about it, the casino makes a lot of sense too, just because of all the like, dice roll shit that, or
Yeah.
like the lot
The
shit that's in
the
the game.
only thing is that I said earlier that the Galaxy movie and is about as good as the previous Mario movie, but it goes up and down in quality that it evens out again because one, it doesn't even have one musical number from any of the cast, but they did record one with Jack Black that was just cut from the movie. And I think you ask anyone, they say the best part of the previous movie.
That
Oh, yeah,
was
that was
probably
weird.
a big bad mistake then, because dude, literally, and this is anecdotal, but like I was hanging out with family the other day, and one of the in-laws was kind of bringing up how like she brought her kids to the movie, and she was really disappointed they didn't have a song.
Yeah.
People fucked with Peaches, so
Dude.
like that's.
When I went the first time, there was
It
a
is
kid
kinda
behind
crazy
me
that they
who
did
kept
not-
asking about Sonic to his mom. He was not happy that Sonic didn't show up.
Do you guys know that clip of I Show Speed reacting to the trailer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep thinking about that, and he just like sees Bowser. He's like, "Browser."
I love the one of like of the post credit scene of the second Sonic movie where it reveals
Bowser.
Shadow, and you could just hear a kid in the background go, oh, "Sonic EXE."
Sorry, I
remember
was just
that.
like reminded of that. I had to like, oh.
Yeah. But the yeah, anyway, so the musical number was cut, which makes it worse, but this movie, it has still like two pieces of licensed music. When I think if you just cut those, it's a lot better. This movie uses better original orchestral performances, which I wanted from the previous movie, so that's already a marked improvement. And that's what I feel about, like, when I think an adaptation of Mario Galaxy, I don't need the story or a specific character to show up. It's just the music for me, because for me, the music is Mario Galaxy. And seeing big screen, like, remixes of those songs, and they all accompany their specific sections, right? When Yoshi is with the baby Marios, it plays Yoshi's Island music. When there's the dinosaur, there's Odyssey music. For whatever reason, the only thing I don't understand is that during that casino section, it plays an instrumental version of Jump Up Superstar. And it's the only part in the
Yeah.
movie where the music like doesn't match what's going on. Because we see
Yeah, that
Pauline
is
in
weird.
we see Pauline in New York like in a short snippet too. So it's weird that like this song isn't meant to be associated with this section.
You know what I honestly think, and this kind of goes into a wider point, is that I think there's probably a decision being, because I've heard people talk about like, oh, why don't they do a Sunshine movie first, or why don't they do a Mario World movie first? I've heard people talk about it like that, and I kind of think to myself like, I don't think they should, and I don't really think they're really planning to plan everything out that wide. You know what I mean? And I think that's because, like, theoretically, maybe they could save Jump Up Superstar for when they actually integrate Pauline more, like, thoroughly in the plot. But also, I mean, will they ever get that chance? Their odds are pretty good, but I don't know if it's perfect. So I think they just rather just kind of, like, implement it in some way now, you know?
I mean, this
I
movie
think that's
has
the kind
a
of
lot.
philosophy behind these movies, to be honest.
Yeah, this movie is a lot of different things and has a lot of heavy lifting. I will say that, like, for how much it doesn't feel as crowded as you think it would. Like when I heard it, when we talked about all these things, like, oh man, they got
Yeah.
Wart and Mauser and Berdetta and this dinosaur and now Star Fox and like Bowser Jr. How are they gonna do all this stuff? The answer is that Rosalina's captured most of the movie, and a lot of these are pretty short sections. And Star Fox is a main
The answer
character.
is that they show up for one scene.
Yeah,
That's the answer.
and I think
like,
that the movie balances it pretty well. And then I went to go see it a second time with like another group of people, and I was watching, or rather rewatching, the like first act of the movie again, and I was like, "Oh yeah, Yoshi's in this." Like like he really fades into the background, considering that the tease at the end of the first movie is like, "Oh, Yoshi's gonna be in the next one," and they do a little bit of that. And they do a really good job of keeping them as a trio, especially in like the more action sequences. But this movie has a lot going on, and for the most part it juggles it pretty well, but Yoshi is pretty unimportant to this movie at large.
Yeah, I think he just shows up at the beginning. It's like, okay, he's part of the gang now.
When I saw it the first time,
like,
Yeah,
I don't
it's
even
kind of
think
weird how like
really sets anything in
like,
motion.
we're introduced to
He's part
him
of the gang.
and some reason it's just he's integrated into the group, and for some reason like they don't really get is in the next scene. I feel like we need an extra scene to like get him integrated.
Yeah, I mean they hit the ground run. I just really don't. It really wants to do a lot of things as far as like, oh, what is the sequel movie? And that was another piece of licensed music, is then when he's in New York for a little bit and we see.
Dude, I'm gonna defend Hypnotize. I'm defending Hypnotize.
Okay.
I'll defend it with my life, like straight up. No, because I saw people like posting other songs like, oh, it'd be so much better if it had this, and it's just like, dude,
If it had this anime opening.
You know, I mean, this is kind of a testy thing. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but when I see someone like replace Yoshi, I mean, to be fair, Walk the Dinosaur, I kind of get it, but it's like, bro, like there's something really band kid about that. Like I kind of fuck with Hypnotize being played because he's in New York. It's like it's like this like old school. I don't know if you call it old school. I mean, some like, you know, hip hop heads might disagree with me on that, but it's this like classic like New York gangster rap that's played with Yoshi. Like that works on me, and I don't know. I feel like there's something kind of endearing about it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm team like Yoshi Hypnotize.
I will concede that like it does sort of, I guess, make sense for like if the licensed music only plays when they go to New York or the human world. That does make sense because that's within the story of this new world they're building, where instead of New Donk City, it's sort of just like the New York that we have, except a little bit different. That like, yeah, it would make sense that those songs are playing.
In the movie? I'm pretty sure they have, because I think he said he's from. They've said Brooklyn or Queens.
Yes.
Have they said New York?
Well, we see a map, right, when they're doing the fake trailer or the fake commercial. I'm not sure.
My guess is that they've said like New York, but I've always wondered, like, why would they do that? All things considered, I don't know, I mean, like, because what you see so much in at least the games, and I guess when I say so much, I mean like the last few, you know, Odyssey and Donkey Kong Bonanza, is the New Donk thing. I think they're really, you know, in some way trying to, well, I don't know. I mean, it does seem like New Donk. I guess the point I'm making is that I'm surprised they're like letting it be New York in the movies and New Donk in the games.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I would say the only difference, or the only reason, somebody asked me in my chat the other day if I think that this movie, or like these Nintendo crossover movies, quote unquote, will have any major change or cultural shift when it comes to like a new Smash Games roster. Like, oh, does this mean Rosalina and Bowser Jr. are locked? Does this mean Toad is going to be on the roster? And I don't want to be reductive, and I don't want to sound cynical, because I need people to know that I love movies and I love animated anything. These movies are not made to sell video games, they are made to sell their theme park. Like, all of the reason there's little Pikmin running around is because they run around in Super Nintendo World. That initial theme park launched a couple years before the movie, and then in between movies they added a Donkey Kong Land where you're riding a minecart, and that just so happens to also happen in the movie. So I think they're leaning more towards Donkey Kong being a country-based character as opposed to like a new Bonanza character, because they can build a theme park attraction around it. Similarly, I have no illusions that Miyamoto doesn't feel very strongly about Star Fox, and they didn't add him just because it was a space movie, but I wouldn't be surprised if within the year there isn't a Star Fox-based R-Wing attraction implemented on Nintendo World. It's the same thing with other cinematic universes. Your Star Wars or your Marvels or anything like that. For the most part, a lot of these action scenes exist to eventually be made into a theme park ride. And that sounds really cynical. I don't think it begets the quality of the film, but I do understand. I believe that's why they do it. So I think the reason they're not doing, and they still could, they're not doing as much of like the new Donk stuff and building, I guess, just America, the Earth world, is because they are building more into the Donkey Kong Country aspect. I know people keep saying on and on that there's going to be a Donkey Kong spinoff because Seth Rogen said he wanted it, but of course he would say that. He voices Donkey Kong. Luigi's Mansion movie? Of course he would say that. Why wouldn't he say that? But there's a lot of that in it, and I will say that, like, it's I saw it the first time by myself, and it was analytical glasses on, and I was just like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. And then I went to go see it with a different group of people who, like, heard only the worst things, and they're like, oh, dude, you're making us watch this movie, this is gonna suck. And then they had fun, and afterwards they're like, oh yeah, that was a good movie, or fun movie. And the fun part is just, like, and this is such, like, a drooling, like product consumption take, but like just sitting there with friends and jokingly pointing at the screen whenever a video game thing pops up. There was a bit, I normally don't like to talk during a movie, but because it was just us and we were whispering to each other, and I'm just gonna go over my greatest hits, because if something kills, I'm gonna lean on it all the time. There was a bit where Toad, like, leans forward and is, in a reference to Star Fox, he says, oh, do a barrel roll, Star Fox, man, dude, something like that. And I leaned over and I said, see, that's a reference to the Nickelodeon show Breadwinners. And it killed. That bit killed. But the point being is, like, it just, like, that's what you do. You go and then ironically you point at the screen, you're like, oh, this is just like from Mario. But like, it is fun in that way, and that is, like, a pseudo-ironic, like, layers of detachment. However, I'd be lying if I said I didn't care about the Mario lore, quote-unquote, because I could say that, like, yeah, like, the reason I play Mario games is because they're fun. I don't really care about the story aspect. But as someone who, like, you know, played these games as a kid and still plays them, and never knew anything about the backstory of Mario or Peach or any of them, because they're all very protective of that, it is kind of fun to see the way that they, like, oh, we have to make a narrative out of this. So in the first movie, they're like, oh yeah, Peach came to the Mushroom Kingdom from some other mysterious land. And then in this movie, they follow up on that by saying that her and Rosalina are sisters, and they both have the same star power of creating galaxies, creating life, but only when they are together. And I've seen a lot as well about, it seems like the people who are the most mad view movies as, like, percentage, and, you know, we don't need to talk about it. Oh, I kind of do want to talk about it later, but I've been seeing this happen with the Amazing Digital Circus as well, where people say that, like, oh, this is objectively bad writing because their favorite character isn't getting as much attention. Like, oh, this showrunner forgot about this character because, you know, watching a show and then instead of engaging with it honestly, having a flow chart of character appearances. So Star Fox is in the movie more than Rosalina, but that doesn't really negate Rosalina's purpose, and the idea that like, oh, they're doing the old damsel thing doesn't really factor into like, it just like the reason Luigi is the one being captured in the first movie is so Mario has emotional stakes and a motivated reason to want to go rescue him. And here, the reason Rosalina is captured is so Peach can complete her arc in finding her long lost sister. I will say, however, if it was that easy to find Peach and the Mushroom Kingdom, how come Rosalina didn't like check up on her once? Because she was just at the Comet Observatory. She never went to go see her for.
I did think about that. That is weird.
Yeah, that she just doesn't check in on her. But yeah, I guess that's how I feel about the characters being separate like that. How do you guys feel about Star Fox's characterization in the movie? Because he is in it a decent amount.
I don't know. Maybe I mean he's kind of like typecast a little bit into the like smug action guy character a little bit, which I think some purists might take issue with. It didn't get on my nerves too bad personally, but I'm not the biggest Star Fox fan either way, so it's not really a thing that I would feel very strongly about either way.
The only thing that does bug me is how much the movie insists that he's cool. Because I always hate whenever anything does that, where instead of letting the character do cool things, you just have other characters be like, whoa, this guy's awesome.
Yeah, no, now that you say that, like I've never liked that.
I don't know. Did you see him do the barrel roll?
Yeah, and doing awesome barrel roll. Dude, Matt Pat found dead. They called him
Observatory?
They called him a bum twice. They disproved his Rosalina theory, and they called it a barrel roll.
They should have said aileron roll.
Right, he should have shown up in his Five Nights at Freddy's movie gear.
They should have. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I wish Rosalina was Peach's mom.
Cut scene. They just cut the scene.
Yeah. They, like, we have to cut this for time. We have to get Issa Rae and Luis Guzman in there real quick. As far as, like, I mean, like, I wouldn't say that the characterization bugged me as much as just, like, it is a kid's movie, but it's like sort of a kid's idea of what is cool, and I don't mind the voice. I think Glenn Powell does a good job. I will say this though, that like before I went into this movie, people brought up the conceit, the idea of a Nintendo cinematic universe, and we just talked about how
Dude, I feel so stupid.
Yeah, how ridiculous the assertion that there might be a Donkey Kong movie. I was like, no, they're not gonna do.
I never said that about the Donkey Kong movie.
Right.
I never said that.
No, I'm just saying we just joked about that earlier. But like I said that like no, they're not gonna do a Star Fox movie. He's just grandfathered into the Mario universe. But the way they like push the series and have that little anime intro, and then at the end, the post-credit scene, the first post-credit scene, by the way, starts with him being like,
you guys want to know something?
Sure.
Sorry. Okay, I'll be totally honest.
Yes.
I was originally going to like watch this movie on like 123 movies or something to save $20. So I went online and I looked for it, but they only had cam rips at the time. But I'm like, you know what? Whatever, dude. I'll do it.
It feels like you're there.
Yeah, right. So I started watching. I watched the first 10 minutes, and it was like Rosalina's fight with Bowser Jr. And then I kind of paused, and I'm like, you know what? This is probably a gorgeous ass movie. So I actually bought the ticket. But what happened at the end was it was like really late, and I kind of had to use the bathroom because I watched the movie at like 10 p.m. So the first credits post credit scene rolls, and I'm like, okay, there's definitely a second one. But I'm just gonna watch it when I get home. So I did.
Yeah, there's two post-credit scenes, and to be
so I watched the Daisy one.
Yeah,
when I get home. I never.
In
saw
your
it,
defense, aside from the Star Fox stuff, the first post-credit scene they showed it to us. Like they showed it in a trailer. The scene with Luma Lee.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was like they showed off Luma.
Oh yeah, now I remember. Yeah.
And like, dude, when I was watching that, because here's the thing, right?
Why would you show off your
in the movie? Fox is like, oh, I fell into a warp drive, like my engine exploded, and I was blasted to this universe, and I've been trying to find my way back ever since. And then in the post-credit scene, he's like, all right, I'm going home. I'm gonna go back to the Star Fox universe, and then we see Dry Bowser and Bowser Jr. By the way. I don't want to feel like that, the SpongeBob gif where they're going over the little roller coaster hump, but like we're used to it because these are Mario stories that have existed within Mario games. I was a little surprised they did the Dry Bowser thing because it does involve him just like dying and burning in lava. And I'm not trying to big up this and be like, it was so traumatic. I can't believe they showed this to kids.
I can't believe Ezekiel fell in the volcano.
Yeah, because it's cartoony, but like, I was surprised they did it at all.
Scene is Bowser being put in a robot suit, and he's told $1 million is destroyed.
And he goes, no, dude. Oh, if they made Revenge of the
seasons?
Sith today, that would be a post-credit scene. I just thought about that.
Oh my
Anyway,
God, you're right.
in that prison scene where we see like a baton hitting the cell, and then we just see their reaction, and then it's a joke reveal in Lumily. There was a moment where I was like, oh, it's gonna be Wolf. Like I thought they were gonna show Wolf O'Donnell that way. Yeah, for a bit I thought that.
Well, I think the reason they put it in the trailer was just because I think the like nihilist Luma, is that what was her name? Or what was
Lumily?
like Lumily. I think it was just a kind of a meme character.
Lumily.
Like some kids found her funny, so I think they just put it in just for good measure.
Right.
But
I mean, clearly they're trying to integrate her into the main.
Oh yeah, because of the Mario Tennis skin. Every time there's an Illumination movie, I'm looking for what characters are supposed to be the minions, and I think that the Lumas sort of fill that role in this one, but they're mostly just like a lot of babies. I do like the little bit where they're all fighting. One of them is pretending to be Mario, and one of them is pretending to be Donkey Kong, and then there's one that's like doing the Kirby jump animation that flies across the screen when they're getting the Luigi call. But yeah, that was the first post-credit scene. I thought it was going to be... I have since changed my stance. The fact that like they lean so hard into selling the idea of Star Fox and Star Fox being cool, I think it's possible they might try and do a Star Fox movie. Especially because, and it's the same thing with Seth Rogen and Charlie Day, but like, Glenn Powell is really invested in Star Fox and wants it to happen. And they announced Star Fox a week before... And then the movie came out, and then they showed him in a trailer like a day after. And I feel like they should have just like revealed that after the movie came out, because leaks happen pretty soon anyway. Maybe they did it because, that leak we talked about, or that image where you could see Star Fox. But I don't know if anyone like outright believed it. It was more that like, oh, this could be this thing. That
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one thing like.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I was about
no,
to
you're
say
good.
something, but I kind of forgot what I was gonna say.
Oh, sorry.
Well, okay, so like, I think a big thing about the multiverse thing, or not the multiverse thing, that's another thing. The cinematic universe thing that I was kind of thinking is that it's like, and I guess this is my like false assumption, is that I kind of assumed that if they wanted to make a Star Fox movie, they would have to rely on the people who play the Star Fox games. And I think that's kind of a false premise, because I don't think they actually have to rely on the people who play the Star Fox games.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, I think they could easily. Well, I don't know. I mean, it'd be more risky. It wouldn't be as confirmed of a
and Bowser in the last one, and I expected that. And I've doubted Nintendo too many times. I didn't think it was going to work. I didn't think anyone was going to care. I have been a Smash fan my entire life, where Star Fox is just kind of there and super niche. They did it. They got the furries thirsting after Star Fox. I genuinely didn't think it was possible in 2026, but I've been seeing people.
Are you saying Star Fox isn't a furry icon?
I didn't know. I just assumed he was. I thought he was too old.
Bro, what the fuck, dude?
Well, like I know I know he's a fox, and he's like Sly or whatever. But like, dude, as far as like Nick Fox and like the guy from Bad Guys level, like I didn't think so.
People are serious. No, dude, I would bet you money. Well, it's actually because he has an advantage. I would bet you money though that Fox has more tags on E621 than Diane Foxington. Easy.
Interesting.
Easy.
What about
No, I mean, well, no, I mean, I think there's a good.
See that.
I just like I think I just didn't see it as much, and then when I opened up like my TikTok or other feeds after the movie, I keep seeing like thirst edits of him, and I'll say this: I've never seen a thirst edit of Star Fox before in my life. So seeing all that, I was like, wow, like,
oh yeah, I mean,
I think maybe that thirst of Star Fox breached containment, and now it's in like the wider entertainment populace.
Like
they really fucking did it. They made Star Fox relevant in 2026. That's fucking nuts.
Yeah, I think that's really the crazy. I mean, I'll be totally honest. I never played Star Fox SNES. I never finished 64. I've never been a big fan.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I've played SNES twice now. I'm gonna play 64. I'm gonna get into the series because I don't know, it's the kind of series that you tried, didn't really, like really get into it, and you kind of regret not getting into it sooner. So
I
yeah,
mean,
I
you
mean,
can knock it out
it
in a
worked on
day.
me.
Yeah, I mean, like
Oh yeah, no,
that's
it's like an hour. Like, yeah.
like it. They did it. They now like if they do release a new Star Fox game, even if they just like show off a trailer, it's like no, like they could easily parlay this. Like they fucking nailed it. I didn't think it was possible, and yet here
Yeah.
we are.
What's interesting now, I think, is one of the big things is thinking about what are the easiest franchises for Nintendo to kind of like shoehorn into Mario. And I say shoehorn kind of playfully, but on some level, I'm happy that this is happening. I think like I've always been a little cynical about the idea of like a Smash Bros. Movie. I don't know if that's the way they would go about it, but the idea of, using the Mario movies as like a conduit, so to speak, for other franchises and kind of bringing in, all sorts of Nintendo big names. It's honestly a really good idea, at least from a marketing standpoint, from a business standpoint. So, but I am curious, like what they might consider their like rules of who they'd let in and who they wouldn't, because something tells me that Star Fox is fair game, but like Samus Aran isn't.
Well, going into this movie, I just assumed that like, oh, Star Fox has always existed in this universe, and he's just a
That's what I
character
would have preferred
from the
honestly.
cosmos. But the fact that like it was the multiverse thing, like, oh, I fell into this dimension, that shocked me a little bit.
Yeah, I would have preferred they didn't do the multiverse thing. I would have preferred them just say like, "Oh yeah, dude, like I don't know, the Lilac system's out there somewhere."
Well, also,
I mean, I guess yeah, that would have its own questions, but like, excuse me, I don't know. I guess there's like a nerd in me that hears Fox McCloud say he's like stranded from his home universe and everyone he's ever known, and I kind of think like, why isn't he like inherently distraught and like messed up and like that's a very sad situation to be in.
yeah, I mean, his characterization in the movie is that he'll just do anything for money, which obviously people have really latched
which
on
actually
to.
is pretty accurate to how he is in the game. All things
Interesting.
considered.
Yeah, see, now I gotta
Well, I mean,
now we gotta
that's
get into Star
some ways
Fox.
yes, some ways no. There's like jokes about it, but at least in some of the games, there's like jokes about like him billing extra based on how many people he kills or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's kind of apropos.
I mean, these different Nintendo franchises have been sourced out to different companies. Yesterday, Sony had a big press conference at CinemaCon 2026, showing off big movies like a Jumanji 4, and I didn't know they made a third one on that. And also now we have I don't know if we knew the release date of the Zelda movie, but it's next year, May 7th. And really, the main thing I was interested in was, for one, the what is the new Spider-Verse called? I just saw it as like the Spider-Verse.
The Beyond, I already
Yeah.
forgot.
That it's being
everything takes so long to come out now, so
it's being
like,
released in a specific format that like it clearly fits IMAX screens better, but is going to be released the same way across multiple formats. It's one of those things that like when people go on and on about specifically TV series having long gaps between seasons, and I understand that, but sometimes there is something fun between getting a sequel to something like 3 years later. The same goes for like this Mario movie. It's like, oh yeah, I really liked this thing in 2023, and I'm getting like re-excited for it again. The fact that there are 4 years between each Spider-Verse movie, I kind of like that as far as the trilogy goes, and I'm getting re-excited for it. And also the Social Reckoning, which I wouldn't have cared about otherwise, because it's just a sequel to The Social Network starring a different guy that isn't Jesse Eisenberg. It just so happens that that different guy is Jeremy Strong. And the more I rewatch the show, Succession, like very quickly, and maybe it's recency bias because you have different opinions depending on like if you watch something as a teenager or a kid, or if you watch something as an adult. And Succession is the main series that like I experienced fully as an adult and really really love. And I want to see the movie, even though like if I didn't like Jeremy Strong, it would seem really weird to me that they're just recasting Mark Zuckerberg. But I'm stoked about that. Also, Zach Krager's Resident Evil, but that's not what we're here to talk about. That I just brought it up because of the Zelda movie. And I will say, for Mario Galaxy, just an overall review of the movie as it is, outside of the bubble of people saying it's the worst thing ever and a fumbled adaptation, or people saying that it's fantastic, because there was a lot of people getting very angry, like, oh, if you see anyone saying this movie is good, they're paid off, it's all marketing, because people feel very strongly about movies. I know that there were other posts going semi-viral because there are people that see like 3 or so movies a year, And whenever there's a movie that's like kind of bad, they're like, this is the worst thing ever. Whereas if you're like me, a real movie watcher, you'll know that most movies are actually way worse. And the same goes for
At least this
cartoons and
one's
video
like
games.
fun and cute and not
Yeah,
boring. You know what I
my
mean?
my ultimate stance on this is that the movie is actually really good when no one's talking. And that sounds like an insult or like a backhanded compliment, but like the moments, and I said this when I talked about Goat earlier this year, that Goat isn't a movie that's particularly compelling to me or something that I identify with, but it looks like Spider-Verse. So like we live in an age where even the most okay of animated movies look gorgeous. And the same reigns true for the Mario Galaxy movie. There are sequences, and it seems weird to call this an action movie because it is like an animated family movie. There are sequences when, like, specifically Mario and Luigi and Yoshi are all even like Peach and Toad, the way they all fight. I saw a joke someone else making where they're like, oh, you could tell the animators were really inspired by Super Mario Bros. Z. But like sort of that, but unironically, like they're like the way they move when they're
I haven't
fighting.
rewatched that. I watched it since I was like 7.
Oh, I watched it on stream a couple years back. It was a great time. Yeah,
That's a
like
video you should do.
yeah. Well, that was like the proto to the total Pokemon Island thing where I was just like watching a little bit each week. But that one is more like because there's no dialogue and only text, I was just doing the voices. So it was more like the equivalent of me playing an RPG where I was just like reading the text. But yeah, like it looks really, really pretty, and the action scenes are really just like it's a beautiful film. It's just the movie is really, really good when no one is talking. That's my ultimate stance on this movie. How would you two describe it?
The way I describe it to me is that, you know, it's like a competently made animated movie that does what it's supposed to do, but at least for me it scores extra points because, you know, I think it's a celebration of Mario, and all things considered, Mario is something very special to me, you know. It does make me happy. I've talked about this before in my videos, like maybe in somewhat some people would say, you know, to exhaustion, but you know, there was a point in time where when like a movie inspired by video games like 10 plus years ago was like fucking Pixels by Adam Sandler, or you know, those like god awful live action like video game movies. You know, it does make me kind of happy to see a movie like this, which you know, it's not the story is the plot itself is bare bones. Like if you go into this not knowing anything about the Mario characters, it really isn't going to do much for you. But it makes me glad seeing this movie because you can tell, you know, the artistic direction is super inspired. It's gorgeous. And you know, it's a celebration of something that means a lot to me. So I don't know, for me, like, could it be more profound? Could it be, you know, something more akin to like the Lego movie where, you know, just it's on one hand a celebration of, you know, the Legos and their history, but it also kind of, you know, aims to tell like maybe have like a more thorough thematic purpose, I suppose. But I don't really think it needed to be. I mean, it's pretty much what I expected it to be. It's a fun time, you know. It kind of like, you know, shoves characters I like in my face. You know, it's cute to watch. I'd even watch it a second time. You know, I mean, the characters mean enough to me, but you know, it is definitely standing on the stool of the Mario universe. If this was just another action, if this was a different movie with like completely unique characters, like it would suck, or like straight. There would be nothing really that anyone would appreciate about it. But it's not, you know.
Yeah, it would still look good. It's definitely fun to watch other people watch it. And the second time around during the Daisy post credit scene, people were hooting and hollering. I can't imagine. I mean, the fact that Yoshi was the post credit scene of the last one and then kind of didn't factor into this. I don't think the next movie is going to be about Daisy.
Shit, and then the third Mario
yeah.
movie.
Dan, what do you think of the movie in general?
Oh, it's not. She doesn't matter at all. It'd be the Wario movie.
Ooh, yeah. I guess that's the question.
I'm surprised they haven't put Wario in the movies yet.
Been terrible, and I feel like I might.
Unfortunately, he keeps cutting out.
A little bit. I'm gonna get bits and pieces of this though. Do we really nail this down? Well, I was going to ask if we as we talk about the Mario Galaxy movie, that we are mainly right now this week gearing up for the release of Tomodachi Life Living the Dream on Thursday. And last time I had the opportunity to talk about the Mario Wonder Switch 2 edition. And I had a lot of fun with that. And I've since played it again on another stream. And mostly the multiplayer aspects. And I had a lot of fun doing that. Even like chilling by the fire, which started out as just like, oh, this is a $20 technically quote unquote Switch 2 exclusive, I guess I'll play it. Even that is more fun with people, and it only has game share. There's more games that like you can use game share, that you're the only person that needs to own it, than I initially thought, which is technically bumping it a couple spots above Super Mario Super Mario Party Jamboree plus Jamboree TV. But the main thing I wanted to hear is that we've been following the saga week by week, that I believe now Dan has finally had the opportunity to properly get his mitts on Pokemon Pokopia and play it a little bit. But if we can't hear from Dan, then Dan?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes. We'll let you know if you cut out again. Have you had the chance to play more Pokopia?
Yes, I have had the chance to play a bit more Pokopia. I'm really enjoying myself. I'm up to the second area. I didn't realize it was a real-time game. So, like, you're playing at night, and it's nighttime, and it says it'll be done by tomorrow. Then it takes, like, a day to get to. And I'm never, like, the biggest fans of those because, like, I kind of want an option to just hurry it up and get done with it. Or at the very least, like, get done with it quicker. So it has kind of, like, taken me off a little bit. But for the most part, I've been enjoying it quite a bit. I'm really having fun. I'm trying to like balance this out with like Astrobot, but Astrobot's kind of winning
of course.
It's Astrobot. So, it's like
for me there.
But this is still fun.
Yeah. There are I was shocked when I was playing it that like I started a build and it said, oh, this build will be done at 2:40, and it was like very precise timing, and that was the moment when I was like, oh yeah, no, this is a real-time thing. And I only really play it on stream in my normal morning stream time, but to get like a Hoot and a Venonat, you have to play at that time of night, and it factors in with the other Pokemon for you to get. YouTube chat right now, it says, to me, admitting that the movie would be bad if you replaced the characters with non-Mario characters sort of validates the criticism of people who wanted an actual movie.
No, for sure. Yeah, I mean, if that's if you really
totally
wanted an
agree,
actual movie, like, yeah, you're not gonna. Yeah, that's a fair criticism. I don't really blame you for thinking that way or having or wishing it was like an actual serious, more profound movie. But at least for me, I mean, the fact that, and I'll totally admit it's not. Yeah, I mean, you can call me stupid, and I'm not saying you're calling me stupid, but like it's not high art.
I might be calling you stupid.
We're calling you stupid. Chatter.
It's definitely not high art, but at least for what I think what it was trying to do, I think it does what it's supposed to. I think it's a competent enough story. So maybe I said it sucks. I don't think it's like terrible, but yeah, I mean, I definitely wouldn't have watched it were it not the Mario movie. And yeah, I mean, all things considered, the characterization is very, very dull, or it's very shallow because. Once again, I think it is sort of expecting you to already feel acquainted with characters like Mario, Peach, Luigi, et cetera, with or without having seen the first movie. So yeah, I mean, if they weren't characters that you knew, like the movie, I don't think I would find it interesting at all. Or I would at least I'd find the artistic direction interesting. But at the end of the day, and maybe I shouldn't have brought up the hypothetical. I'm the one who brought it up. But at least for me, I think that it's enjoyable enough. And the fact that even though maybe it wouldn't be as enjoyable if Mario wasn't there. I mean, Mario is there. So, I mean, that's kind of a part of it. I'll totally admit.
I would still attest that it's like a fun movie to ogle, but that's sort of the case with all modern animated movies. And maybe I'm a bad control group because, you gotta at some point come to terms with the fact that like your experiences aren't universal. So whenever I see people online talking about like how bad a movie was or really wanting a movie to be good or comparing it to some of the worst ones, I just like, as someone who goes to the theater all the time, treats it as like a hobby. comparing it to other stuff, I'm like, oh, it wasn't that bad. I actually liked it a decent bit. And in the comparison of movies, as far as animated films from this year, I think GOAT is a decent comparison, even though that one features original characters, so it technically has a leg up from being able to tell some individual story. But as far as animated films go, I would still say Hoppers is the best one this year so far.
Oh, I love Hoppers.
Yeah, that was really fun. Well, normally, this would be the portion of the pod where we go into the entertainment corner. I could talk about shows that came out the last week in movies, although we did spend this time talking about a movie. And I'll still say everyone should go see the drama. Don't look up anything about it. You got to see it before people start making think pieces and spoiling it. Just see it. Don't know anything. I went in completely blind and I was damn covering my face the whole time. It was a fantastic movie. I know I lock in my best of the year way too soon every year. However, last year when I did it in April, it was Sinners and I ended up being right. So I'm going to lock it in now. Who knows? Maybe stuff will... It's interesting that my roommate asked me about this or said like, oh, it's really cool that like, or it's interesting that for whatever reason, this year is like a really big year for movies. And what he meant was like major franchise films. And it seems like a weird response to the previous year, 2025, that was primarily made up of individual stories we hadn't seen before. That 26 is like, this is the big, like, oh, there's going to be a Mandalorian and there's going to be an Avengers and there's going to be a Dune and there's going to be a Supergirl and Hunger Games, you know, all of the franchises. And even as I was saying, like, oh, the shows I've been watching each week, The Boys came back and... This is going to be such...
It's back?
Yeah, well, the first two episodes
say,
of
I've been
season
having
5.
fun with it so far.
Yeah, this is going to sound like such
a
Reddit comparison, but it's the same thing I kind of feel about Rick and Morty, where whenever I'm not watching it and whenever there's not new ones and I'm not thinking about it, I'm like, oh, dude, that fucking show. And then whenever it comes back and I watch it and then I rewatch the older seasons, I'm like, oh, wait, no, I like the show. Like, genuinely, I think season 1 and 2 of The Boys is really great. I don't love the decisions they're going with in season 5, but as far as Amazon superhero shows, I've also been... I'm sure I'll talk about this at a later date. I've like sprinkled it through a bunch of different videos already just because I was watching it as I'm talking. Also making myself watch Invincible every week. And I think they did a 3-episode premiere, and I hate a 3-episode premiere. Just do it weekly. And... people feel very strongly, and the same case with the regular show reboot that's coming out, I think also next month. People who don't really know anything about animation want to complain about animation, and that's totally fine, but the fact that they're saying, like, oh, this is why this is bad, it's because of this budget, so on and so forth, I honestly don't have any problem with that. I can understand the criticism. My thing is that, like, I get it in a world where... these major studios aren't picking up new shows or new series. Like, if J.G. Quintel wants to get work, you just gotta do more regular show. I can respect that. I just, in the grand scheme of shows coming back, if I'm watching that show in particular, it's not a show where I feel like we need a whole lot more. And similarly, I know that Invincible is gearing... it has multiple... spin-offs, and it's gearing up for like multiple seasons because there are several arcs that took place in the comic that they want to adapt. But like going back and watching season 1 of Invincible, it really is like near perfect. Like it's pretty magical.
It really is. It's crazy. You look at season 1 and compare it to every other season, not even just like visually, but like in general.
Yeah.
And it's kind of insane, like how well paced that entire season is.
And even
how did it even happen? You know?
How they have lightning in a bottle. Well, my thing is that like in comparison to like The Boys or whatever, like if you think that The Boys should have ended, at least that's an ongoing narrative. But legitimately, if you watch season 1 of Invincible and then stop watching, that is one complete series. And I think the lightning in the bottle is the most compelling story is the stuff with Mark and Omni-Man. And I just have no desire to see them meet up again. And I certainly have no desire to see Omni-Man have like a pseudo-redemption arc. I don't want to see any of that. And it's just like that season, it's more disappointing, I guess, that I wish I didn't care. And it's sort of the same feeling I have about Has Been Hotel, ironically another Amazon show, where No, that's a different example. Actually, the thing that upsets me about Has Been is that I really want it to be good, but it isn't. And the thing about Invincible is a little bit more sad, where it's just like I don't care. Like it's not even earth-shattering. Oh my god, earth-shatteringly bad.
Earth chatting.
Shatting the earth. Really, really shat the earth on that one. Or like something I'm like, man, what happened to the show I love? It just every time there's a new season or a new half season and they're doing the little recap, it's like, this is what happened. These are all the episodes and the plot points you need to understand. There's just so much going on narrative while also adapting several stories at once. I was wondering why so many of these shows. I also made my server start watching Maul Shadow Lord, Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord, starring Darth Maul, a character who we know how his story ends in a later show already, and we're still getting. I guess I'm glad it's animated if we're gonna get any more Star Wars slop, but. At all of these shows, I try to find like a concurrent theme. Like it can't just be me. Like what is it that isn't really speaking to me about these things? And I will never advocate for the argument of like attention spans. I will never say like, oh, people can't focus nowadays. You got to put Subway Surfers on it. Yeah, Netflix. You have to keep telling people what's happening in your plot, or else because they're scrolling their phone.
Some shows go hard when you're on your phone, though. I'll totally admit that.
Well, what my thing is that like. I'm hosting in the server. We finished Succession last year, and that's like one of my favorite shows. And now we're watching Barry every week. And I'm never, ever bored and always compelled while watching those shows. And then there's these other ones, a show like Fallout, where there's multiple cuts to black during the episodes, and it seems like they're going to end, and then they don't. My takeaway is that not every show needs to have 44-minute episodes. I think is my ultimate take on all of this. Like if the argument of Invincible is the pacing and even like the budget being spread thin, imagine if instead of 10 44-minute episodes, it was like 20 22-minute episodes. That seems like it wouldn't make a major difference, but I feel like these episodes would stand alone a lot more if they did that. And I just like and maybe it's because I'm watching them all in one day. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna watch Fallout and also Darth Maul and also Daredevil and also Invincible and also The Boys. I'm gonna do it on the day I watch TV. I think that very few shows have the right to be an hour-long experience. And although I really love The Boys, I don't know that any of these shows really need to have that long of episodes. I mean, Fallout was having straight up hour and a half long that's an exaggeration. Closer to like an hour. But that's what you get when you're doing like streaming shows instead of having to fit 44 minutes between commercials and syndication. When you're on streaming, you could just make episodes as long as you want. That's my ultimate take on that. Mm-hmm.
I don't disagree, just because it's like, I think Invincible would be such a better show if they limited it to 30 minutes an episode.
Okay.
I just think it would be a lot better, because I can't imagine that hour-long episodes are helping with the budget. Like, I can't pretend like I know what I'm talking about, but like,
how will the episode
it's
do?
Quantitatively cheaper. It's objectively cheaper to make something 30 minutes than it is an hour. Like, I don't think you can argue that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that more budget could be packed into those 30 minutes than it could be packed into an hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's just like, it's as far as, I don't want to say Invincible is, what's the word I'm looking for? Consistent, because it often isn't. YouTube chat saying MCU shows definitely don't need that. That was my takeaway with She-Hulk, is that like She-Hulk very clearly wanted to be a story, a case of the week, sort of something like Harvey Birdman, where every episode is like a different superhero case, but it had to be fit into the 8-episode grand Marvel narrative, and that's what really kneecapped that series. And I think there is a space for, a grand overarching universe, and then there are different genres for different people. But I think the regular Marvel audience did not respond well to that show at all. that I want to like shows like Has Been and Invincible because they are consistent. Not consistent in quality and not consistent in releasing full seasons, but for the most part, like getting a new season every other year. And you know that they're always going to make money, so they're always going to be there. Because in reality, over the last couple of years, the cartoons that I've really fallen in love with, Primos, Stugo, and Royal Crackers, technically aren't like they're gone. That they're not coming back. Maybe, because technically, quote unquote, they haven't been canceled, but they're less consistent. And I wish I fell in love with the series that are getting several seasons, but maybe that is the artistry in having a shorter series, is that it stands on its own as it is. Which like I said, as far as entertainment stories go, I do have 3 things over here right now that have just been worth discussing. And while we're on the topic of shows ending, I want to get over to here. The 3 things I've seen the most of. Did you guys see the final 2 episodes of Smiling Friends that aired Sunday night?
Yes. Yes, I did.
Yeah, I thought they were fine.
I thought they were good. I thought the first one was a little weaker. I think the ending definitely made up for it. That was a really good ending. I think the second episode was very good. I think that was one of their strongest episodes they've had, actually.
Yeah, I definitely saw the sentiment that, like, I can't believe they ended on this one, but, that I don't think they built the episode to be the final one. And even then, like, the fact that they call, like, specifically Charlie's uncle, the fact that they call back to the Desmond episode where they lean into the corner to talk, and even, like, it sort of has a little bit of big picture show stuff in it, where it's like, oh, we've been, Charlie has been name dropping his uncle this whole time, and now we finally get to see him, and he's, like, an asshole. It's very reminiscent of the Ed and Eddie, like, finale movie. And yeah. I think that now that the series has ended properly, and also their April Fool's broadcast has happened, and the dust has settled, good show. I like this show.
Yeah. No, yeah. I think like...
Yeah, No, go ahead. Sorry.
I like Smiling Friends.
Mm-hmm.
I do also like Smiling Friends.
Yeah. And I can understand a little bit of sadness to seeing it end. I will say, though, that, like, I was pretty firmly on their side of, like, yeah, if they wanted to end it, I'm glad they're ending it. But then I watched, I forget who it was, the animation director made a YouTube video, an animated YouTube video.
It's the one who did the Satina
animation.
Yeah. It was Hannah Daigle or something.
Oh, is it the same person? Hold on, wait.
It's the same person, yeah.
I want to find the YouTube handle. I think I've been saying it wrong. Wait. Let me find it over here. I'm talking about Shiglu. Is that the same person?
Wait, no, hold on. I think I might be...
Anyway,
now I'm confused.
There's a video on Shiglu's channel. It's at like 1 million views right now. Titled, "I Accidentally Became the Director of a #1 Show." And it tells their story and their perspective.
Oh, I was thinking of someone else. Never mind. Okay. Sorry.
And there's a section in that story where I this is just their perspective, that they found out the show was ending via that Twitter post. Some of them, and he's like the animation director, and that, like, it's, if they are burnt out, I'm glad the show is ending. And I think the conflict here is that, like, for an average Adult Swim show lasting 3 seasons is kind of just the lifespan of it. But the fact that this was reaching, like, Rick and Morty levels of popularity, we expected to see the Rick and Morty path, where it's like, oh yeah, just do it for like a dozen more seasons. Because I think as we're coming up, that we're getting the 9th season of Rick and Morty, or yes. 9th, yeah. And they, after season 3, they were picked up for, was it 70 more episodes?
Yes, it was 70 more episodes.
Right. So each season has about 10 episodes. So by the end of season 10, that initial pickup will be over. I think they got picked up for even more. I think it's still going. And now it has its own spin-off as well.
Yes, I think they're on season 12 right now.
Damn. And I brought that up too, that, like, The director of The Boys, or the showrunner, is always so proud to be like, because they show ran Supernatural, and that was hitting double digits. Like, no, the season 5 is going to be the final season of The Boys. We're not going to stretch it on for too long. And then you watch it, and it features a lot of information that is only revealed in the several spin-off shows that The Boys has. And even after the show
No,
ended,
it's gonna be 5 seasons, but
right. I'm sure.
What's it called? Gen Z? What's the
Gen
spin-off show
V.
called? 'Cause I never watched Gen V. I never actually watched it.
And even Invincible has its own spin-off series too. That it's really difficult to. It's the same thing with the regular show coming back. It's strictly from a consumer standpoint, from an enjoyer of the arts, as far as how I feel about these things. If their passion isn't in Smiling Friends, then don't do it anymore. And I really don't think we need more regular show. However, as also a fan of these individual cartoonists, ideally there would be a system in place where they would still have work even after these shows end. But unfortunately, there isn't. And it's sad to see people lose their jobs, even if I agree with the sentiment of the show ending. Similarly, I've been seeing, and this happened also because Tomodachi Life leaked out, and then we talked about it earlier, that people are feeling very self-righteous about whether or not people have the game or don't have the game. I think piracy is totally fine, as long as you don't believe that it should be uniform. If you want to pirate a game because you can't afford it, that's totally fine, but don't pretend like Nintendo is the ones being greedy for charging for their game. That's just to be expected.
Oh,
and
how dare they?
Yeah.
How dare they even think of that?
Because Nintendo's pretty consumer unfriendly on occasion, but they're not an evil company. Similarly,
you could do worse. You could
do
worse.
Much worse.
The entirety of The Legend of Aang, the last Avatar, leaked on Twitter over the weekend. And a lot of people have been passing around and watching the whole thing, even though the movie comes out in 6 months. And the argument being that it's totally okay for them to do this because it was supposed to come out in theaters, and then Paramount pulled it from theaters and it was just going to go on streaming. And also Paramount is a very shitty company, whether that be
That's such BS. I'm sorry,
just say you don't give a shit.
If you want to pirate
it,
you
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't be self-righteous about it. Don't be like, oh, I'm doing you. I'm the good guy here because Paramount.
Right. I think in general, it's just fucking just pirate it. I don't know.
You don't need to have a reason to pirate things. You're not being
fundamentally.
Mm-hmm.
You can talk first.
You're not being a revolutionary by pirating. It's totally fine to pirate something, but this shouldn't be a moral issue.
Yeah. Well, I guess for me personally, I the way I think about it is that I fundamentally don't really believe that digital content can be seen as an asset that can be stolen in the same way, earrings can. You know what I mean? Or any physical object. So I mean that's how I think about it ethically. But it always just seems that there's this kind of game people play with themselves on why it's okay this time, and it's you don't have to you don't have to convince us. You know what I mean? I don't know. It seems like it's more about just coming up with some fake rationalization than just admitting it's just about I want to watch this.
Yeah.
I would never normally pirate, but this is Paramount we're talking about. They kill millions every minute. I think it's reasonable for us to pirate this.
Yeah. Well, that's with the argument that comes in when you view a movie as a product created by a company and not individual artists. And that's where the same what is and isn't art comes into play. If you can mischaracterize people and view everything as an assembly line piece of plastic on a factory line, then it's a lot easier to say oh, I'm really taking it to Nintendo or Paramount. And this movie in particular, even aside from Tomodachi Life, because that shit's gonna make money regardless. I can understand that Paramount is, I wouldn't say in the wrong, but they definitely shouldn't have pulled it from theaters, or they didn't pull it from theaters, but they were gonna give it a theatrical window and then they didn't. But the argument that that's why you're pirating it is well, they're still gonna release it. This isn't a Coyote versus Acme situation.
The
that's
giant
gonna
tax
go.
write-off. Yeah.
Yeah. That there are individual people that worked on this, and I don't know. It's the same thing as like there was an old College Humor sketch, I think, where I think it happened during there were like iCloud leaks or something, and they were discussing the nuances of breaching privacy of celebrities with their private pictures while they were all actively like scrolling on the computer looking for them. Like they were saying like, "Oh, this is terrible," while also like looking at the picture. Like I can understand if you are a regular Twitter user and you're scrolling and then you see like a blue check mark that says like, "Oh, here's the entirety of this." I can understand the sort of car crash mentality where it's like, "Well, you're gonna look a little bit. You're not gonna turn up your nose and be like, no, I shan't do it because it's already out there." But
Right.
I mean, if it came out in theaters, I would have seen it in theaters. I still haven't seen the version that's on Twitter right now. But it's less about whether or not this is just or a moral issue and more that, like, just from a structural issue, this is not the first Nickelodeon movie that's fully leaked out, right? Like, this has happened several times to them before.
It's crazy how like this keeps happening, and this feels like it's the first time people are like, well, you should really wait for the actual full release. It's like some of these people are the same people who watched the Sandy movie, the Plankton movie. Like these are the same exact people. Like, give me a fucking break.
When I went to go see, what's the new one? Sponge out. What's it? Sponge on the
No,
the new one. The big guy pants. Okay, the new one.
Yeah.
When I went to go see it, I was like, oh yeah, this is the fourth SpongeBob movie, because I had genuinely forgot about all of the movies in between the 2021 and this one, just because like so many of them, all I knew about them is that like, oh yeah, that's the Plankton movie that premiered live on Twitter, like stuff like that. I don't understand how this keeps happening to them.
Apparently somebody
bad
made a Reddit
privacy
post.
practices. That's what I would assume.
Someone made a Reddit post earlier yesterday about when they used to work at Paramount, and they got in trouble for advertising the Avatar books when they came out not too long ago, like for trying to like get them to sell. Like Inner, they got in trouble from Paramount.
You think Paramount might be trying to sabotage Avatar?
Not even that. It's just, why are you trying to sabotage your own product? It's like, why are you telling people not to advertise buying it? You're gonna get a cut no matter what. This is why I'm so goddamn nervous about this merger, because I hate Warner Bros.
Yeah.
But I really hate Paramount. Like, I really hate Paramount.
Mm-hmm. I see a YouTube chat that says, I will say the Avatar leak proved that people will not be quiet about the Digital Circus movie release because the Avatar release is illegal and they're posting about it like it's okay. I will say, as far as like we just talked about the ethics or how people feel about piracy, as far as like the Amazing Digital Circus theatrical release, I, as a fan of the series, already view seeing something in theaters as like a big deal, right? Like I just like going to the theater. I got my ticket today because the first round of tickets sold like, was it 5 million or 50 million? Probably 5 million.
It was 5 million. There's no way it was 50 million. It was 5
well, you don't know. Well,
and that sold out really fast.
Yeah, they opened up more theaters, and there's one actually close to me, and I bought a ticket, and the only seats that were open were like individual seats. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be sitting between a lot of people. I've been seeing a lot of
new friends.
I genuinely like that, and I've seen a lot of the Smash Bros. Testament where it's like, oh man, the same bit where it's like, oh, you have to hang out in a room with a bunch of the Amazing Digital Circus fans. They should give out deodorant for free. And, you could just kind of copy and place any fandom you don't like to be like, yeah, and they smell also. To be fair,
dude, some fan bases do smell.
I will say, like, as someone who attends conventions, like, if you're upset about those jokes, maybe be the change you want to see in the world. Like, they wouldn't be saying it if it wasn't true most of the time. But I do love being in a packed theater full of people that like the same thing I like. Although, what I've seen from people talking about the Digital Circus over the last couple months has been really, really annoying. But I do think there is a difference because the issue with the Legend of Aang: The Last Airbender is that it is only going to release probably on streaming on Paramount. So if you're pirating that, like you are again, there's no morality here. If you want to pirate, pirate. If you don't. But from a factual standpoint, you are potentially taking away numbers from that. But the Amazing Digital Circus, the only thing is that's going to be posted on YouTube a couple weeks after it's in theaters anyway. So if you know,
Right.
want to see this and not get spoiled on it, there's kind of nothing wrong with finding a cam rip of it. If you're that worried about it, like, you know that the episode's going to be posted on YouTube later anyway. And I want to go back on what I just said, the idea of like, oh, you're taking viewership away from this. If you're going to pirate these things, you probably weren't going to buy a ticket anyway, or weren't going to buy streaming. And again, that's totally fine. My wallet does not weep for these. Well, it doesn't weep for Paramount. Glitch is a little different because there's been a lot of context or discourse lately about Glitch not being an indie company when it almost definitely is.
It definitely is for 100%. Like, there's no doubt about that. I don't understand the argument people are saying that it is not an indie company. I will say there's a massive asterisk in that it is the most successful indie animation company possibly ever, to the point where, I mean, it does get funding from the Australian government. It does have tons of partnership deals, but like, that doesn't mean it's not indie. That just means it's indie, but it's also making a lot of money, which is kind of unheard of.
I didn't know. Digital Circus was Australian, actually. Or how
That
do
seems
they-
to be where all the animation
Glitch
stuff's
is
going now.
SMG4, and SMG4 is Australia.
Shout
I didn't know
out.
SMG4 was inspired. Was part of this whole thing.
Well, that's where the glitch comes in,
they're the
right?
ones
Super
who
Mario
made it.
Glitchy.
Yeah, that's Glitch.
Yeah.
They're Glitch.
Oh,
I hope he shows
okay,
up in the
that makes
movie. I'm trying
Man,
to.
that'd be crazy. If that's like the big bad, it's like it was SMG3 the entire time.
Jax takes off his headset and is revealed to be Super Mario Glitchy. But yeah, like, you know,
It was Squishy Boobkins. all
it
along.
people are constantly talking about indie animation and it being the future, and I really hope that is the case. But the fact that people are kicking and screaming about going to see a movie in the theater, I think what we've learned is that, like, I don't want to discredit the arguments that, like, for some people, the closest showing was like states away, or it's not even showing in their country. I can understand people
That I
being
get.
upset around that, but some people cartoon fans just genuinely don't want to go outside. And this is the same like deodorant argument. Like, hey, if you don't want to be talked about like that, maybe don't act like that. That I skated this out a little bit ago, that, and I don't want to make any statements about large companies or genuinely, you know, people who can't afford things, but I do think that there is a not insignificant amount of people online that heard about ideology about certain things being a human right, you know, shelter, water, food, healthcare, and they took that to mean that like video games and movies should be free. When that's not really what that means. Like, I don't think it's evil for a company to want you to pay money to see a movie in theaters. And even that, like, I couldn't use my AMC deal on this that I normally have, but, like, the ticket wasn't more expensive than any other ticket. YouTube
Right.
chat is also saying...
I mean, like, I'm sorry, if you can't afford a at most $25 ticket, like, I mean, I'm sorry, it's a one night thing. You're not gonna see it again. Like, if you don't like movies, like, you weren't gonna go to the movies anyway. Like, you just aren't gonna go to movies. If you can't afford more show times, I think you could still probably get a ticket if you wanted to. But the fact that it is a 2-week window for what is essentially the series finale of probably one of, if not the most popular shows on the internet. Like, the last episode had 1 million people at its premiere. 1 million people. That is unheard of.
That's gotta
for
be
an
one
indie
of the
animated
biggest,
show.
like, YouTube premieres of all time.
It was. It 100% was. So I have to say, I understand why people are upset in that regard. Like, I have a ticket, and even I'm like, couldn't you have like tested the waters a little bit and done this with maybe like episode 8 and not the series finale? And then if that worked out well, do it for the series finale. Like, show these theaters that like you know, you're worth the time, you're worth the effort to be able to premiere it a day or two before instead of a week or two before. Because I'm sorry, like, people are saying, oh, it's so easy to avoid spoilers online. It's not easy, okay? It's not easy. People are jerks. They're really jerks, unfortunately.
Well, that's why I was saying,
there's
like,
a lot of stuff that I binge it just because, look, I don't want to get spoiled.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, that's what I was saying about, like,
I watched the Mario movie as early as I did, because it's like, dude, I'm not gonna wait for
Right.
people to kind of like, you know, throw shit at me. You know,
well, the Mario movie had like a theatrical window, and then it'll be on streaming in like a couple months or whatever. I do think that because this will be on YouTube in a couple weeks, like we just kind of talked about, is there an ethical argument to like you know, piracy or not? That, like, I do think that this could be this is not that ethics factor into it at all, but I don't like, if you can't see it in theaters and then you like day one find a cam rip of it, I think that's totally fine. I mean, any of it's totally fine. You could do whatever. But I do think that's a more ethical version because, again, it's just going to be posted on YouTube anyway. And when it does, you'll probably rewatch it.
No, and I don't disagree. Okay? I don't disagree. It's just, this is very different from the Mario movie, where that is a sequel to a movie, of one movie, and this is the finale of a show that you can only see in theaters. Like, this is a very different thing. It's also different from the Iron Lung situation. Like, it's same in that it's like, oh, call your local theaters, get them to do it. And I'm glad that they did it. Again, this is a net positive all around. I want to make that 100% clear.
The only reason I got my ticket today is because they
like allowed to be angry.
Yeah. The only reason I got my ticket today is because they actually, like, I probably wasn't going to, but then they opened up more theaters, and there's one that's like 20 minutes from me. That's why I got it. You know, because before that, the closest theater was like 44 minutes, and I'm like, I'll wait.
Exactly. It's like, if they didn't do more theaters, and I can still see there's some theaters that have seats.
Yeah.
So if they didn't do more theaters and more show times, I think I'd be a little more upset about this. Like, I think if you really wanted to go at this point, you could go.
Yeah.
But, like, again, this is such a unique situation where if it was a premiere or just another episode and not the finale for a show that's getting no more episodes, this is the end of the story. Like, I can understand the anger, and I think it's a bit justifiable too. Like, I'm sorry, 2 weeks is kind of asking a lot for people.
Yeah, I feel like if they just like had whenever a movie says it's opening weekend, what they mean is that it comes out Thursday, right? It used to mean like, Thursday
it's
night.
Wednesday, bro.
Right, because
it's Wednesday,
when I saw Infinity War, we saw it like right after school, like late Thursday night, because again, we were like, oh, we don't want to be spoiled on this at all. Meanwhile, my buddy Ryu was reading the script as we were driving there because he wanted to know what happened. But if they just did like, oh, it comes out in theaters the night of June 4th and then premieres on YouTube like June 5th or something, even that would be a little bit more understandable. Like, oh, if you do want to see it early, you can, but you don't have to. But again, I don't know if I'm the control group of this, because they were right. Like, they're making bank on this. Financially, they were correct. But even if it came out the same second on YouTube, I still would have preferred to see it in a theater because I like going to the movie theater. But I know not everyone feels that way. Like, this YouTube chat says, what does this say? But there's also the fact that a lot of people will not have the ideal experience with this finale, especially if those theaters are Minecraft-level disasters. I don't think that that's going to happen. I think that Minecraft was a very specific... I think I'm starting to become one of those people... You know, when you become old enough that you could just blame the next generation? You know how millennials talk about Gen Z or whatever? I don't think that the way the Minecraft movie ended up was the traditional movie viewing audience. I think it just became a viral trend. And I imagine every movie is looking for their movie to become a viral trend. but I don't think it's going to be that bad. And if you view like being in a big room with people as not an ideal experience, then maybe you just don't like going to the movie theater. It'll be the doomsday of animation community. It's going to get spoiled to hell and back. You won't be able to escape. Mario Galaxy and Avatar movie these past 2 weeks prove that no, it's not easy to avoid spoilers. Yeah, I guess that's true. I don't think my argument factors into spoilers at all. Hey, I just wanted to say I really enjoy your Total Drama content. Keep up the good work. Who of us are you talking to? You could be talking to any of us right now.
I think he's talking to me. No, he's talking to Dan.
He really likes Dan's Total Drama video.
I think he's talking to me specifically.
I mean, that's why we started this podcast, really, is so we could talk about our Total Drama opinion. I mean, it could be any of us. More if there was a wide release, and now I hear that the US will have more air dates. That's cool, but internationally it's just 3 days. That's very limiting for us. That's what I have heard. I understand being scared of spoilers, specifically with TikTok, where I've been spoiled on many popular animated movies, but like that never caused any drama before. I do just think that it is... The Amazing Digital Circus is a TV show, but it is also a YouTube series. And I think that those two sides are sort of clashing right now, where there's a large proponent of people who their main source of entertainment is just YouTube. And they're not watching The Amazing Digital Circus because it's a good TV show. They're watching it because it's a series that's popular on YouTube. So I don't think that it's wrong to say that there are large groups of people who like don't see movies or don't even watch traditional television shows that just watch YouTube. And I'll be honest, sometimes you go to the theater and you have an annoying experience and there's like a kid behind you or whatever. That happened to me during the Mario movie, but I wasn't going to go complain to that kid like I'm at the Mario movie.
You should have.
Really like going to the movie theater, and I like when they're fucking packed. Like, that's really fun for me, and I think it'll be even more fun if people show up in costume. Like, I just love the movie theater. I can understand where the frustration comes in, but I think it's more that this is just like frustration at the situation and less about like, oh, this is Glitch's fault. The comment was meant for all like the deep dives. Oh, that's awesome. I mean, we're the Total Drama guys. But yeah, I'm excited, and I don't, my opinion didn't change. Like I got my ticket today, and I'm happy to do so. But I think I have a difference, because to me, like, not that. There is a concern that a lot of people who don't have proper theater etiquette are going to be showing up to this. I saw people saying that, like, because this is a combination of the previous episode and the next episode, that people are going to be, like, singing along with Kane's theme. But I don't even view that as disruptive. Like, that's just what it is. Like, if you... that meme of... Oh, person who's seen 10 movies, oh, Tom Cruise is awesome. And then person who's seen 100 movies, and they're talking about art films, and then it says, like, person who's seen 1,000 movies, like, oh, Tom Cruise is awesome. Like, it does sort of loop back around like that, where if you see movies in empty theaters as often as I do, like, sometimes it is fun to just have one of those movies that's just packed full of people, and it kind of isn't just, like, a movie experience. And that's how I felt about Endgame when it came out. Ironically enough, I used to write articles in our school paper that was just movie reviews every week. So, I've always been on the grind. And the way I compared Endgame is, like, it's more akin to, like, professional wrestling than it is a movie. Like, it felt more like being at WrestleMania, the way people were reacting. So I like going to the movie theater. I hate the theater chain they picked in my home country and wish they chose any other one, but I can also understand that maybe other chains didn't want to negotiate. I do think people singing along in a regular movie release is interfering. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it is bothersome. Dude, I had the opposite. I went to go see K-pop Demon Hunters in theaters because I wasn't going to see it unless it was in theaters, and they re-released it as a karaoke version. But there were, like, just enough groups that, like, everyone was a little insecure. And it was K-pop Demon Hunters, and the lyrics of the songs were appearing at the bottom of the screen, and nobody was singing. Like, I guess they didn't want other people reacting to them. But I've been in packed theaters before. I'm interested to see how it goes, but maybe I just, like, lock into a movie if I'm there. Like, I don't normally let outwardly things affect me. I went to circus like it's weird to compare it to like Succession or Barry, but this is one where like the episodes are 30 minutes and it doesn't feel like they're too long. And it's not
Right.
my favorite series. There are certainly episodes that I don't necessarily care for. But, as we're seeing Smiling Friends end, and then there's other series that I'm not necessarily like, or maybe have been canceled or shelved or stuff like that. This is 26 is technically like the second age of the 20s. People often separate things by decades, like, oh, this is the aesthetic of the 90s or the 80s. But I feel like more often than not, that's actually split in fives. Like 2010 to 2015 is a very different time period from 2015 to 2019. And we're already past the halfway point of the 20s. And I would say that like Circus and Smiling Friends sort of frame that first half of the 20s. And I'm interested to see what this second era is going to look like. We were talking about this on a different stream about what like original property is going to be the big thing for the second half of the 20s, because Smiling Friends was sort of that. And we landed on it's probably K-pop Demon Hunters if they're able to like turn around and make a lot more of that. I hope that they make more animated projects, because I really wanted them to be like the modern equivalent of the Gorillas, but now whenever Huntrix performs, they're just like real live action people. And that's cool for them, but I like the cartoon aspect. But that is...
Wait, they're real? They're not just animated?
They're VTuber models
I had
bobbing
no
up and
idea
down.
they were real people.
Right.
You're lying.
Now I don't care about them. What's the, is it the Alex Hirsch tweet?
They're complex now.
Yeah, is it the Alex Hirsch tweet that says the internet treats real people like they're fictional characters and fictional characters like they're real
Alex
people?
Hirsch, yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's either Alex Hirsch or Matt Braley, one of the two.
Yeah. Best friends. That, well, I mean, I have thoughts about the Amazing Digital Circus. We don't really have to talk about it as much. Maybe we'll talk about the finale when it airs properly on YouTube and everyone's had a chance to see it, or maybe we'll see it in theaters. I don't know. I will say right now, people are really weird when they talk about this show online. I like it. I think it's funny. And that's really my take on the show.
I like the bunny. He is a funny bunny.
Wait a minute.
I like watching that show because it lets me moralize. It makes me feel better about myself than other people.
Yeah, thank God I'm not Jack's toy. That would suck.
I don't get it. I'm not hip enough with the youth.
You don't get the show or the Jack's toy?
No, I don't get the Jack's toy thing.
Oh, it's
that
just
sounds like something that Jake Neutron would say.
Well, it is. Well, interesting you mentioned that. I don't know. We've just taken to calling him that after listening to the song, because I will say that I think I did a bit before. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna go to MomoCon and there's gonna be a secret showing of the circus and they're gonna show the final episode. That did actually happen at the one MomoCon I went to, where Jake Neutron showed off like the Jack's toy animation at the end of the panel, and that was the only thing I walked away from that entire weekend. I was listening to that.
I remember that
because I like downloaded it to my phone, and then I had like an hour long like plane ride. I was just listening to it on loop. That, and also, I think that the new Mad Max came out like a month or so after, because it was May 24. And I was like, oh, I'll watch through all the Mad Max films. And in doing so, I also just wanted to watch through all the George Miller films. So before flying in, I watched Happy Feet 1 and 2. And there's a specific song from Happy Feet 1 and 2 that just got stuck in my head. So I just kept listening to that while going through the airport terminal. But that is, I mean, for the most part, everything that's happened between installments of Switch to Ultra. And normally we're gearing up for games or waiting for those days to happen. And maybe in the, not next week, but in the coming weeks, maybe we'll have guests on to talk about other things. But as for right now, Tomodachi Life Living the Dream officially releases in a handful of days. And I'm only going to really
so fucking excited.
Yeah, set it up and play it that one time, but we're definitely going to be talking about it next Tuesday. I'm hoping to have a regular weekly show on this main YouTube stream that's having all the Tomodachi characters. Shout out to that one guy that shouted out Total Drama. It's kind of going to be like that. But that's all I've got as far as anything. I mean, technically right now as we're talking, CinemaCon is still happening, and Warner Bros. Is doing their upfront right now, but if it's important, we'll talk about it. If it's not, we're not. The next episode is going to be a full in-depth review of all of Darth Maul Shadow Lord. Do you guys have anything to add to discussion before we wrap up today?
Nothing.
I
Nope.
will say, in
Okay.
regards to the whole Smiling Friends thing,
Yes.
before, because I realized I forgot to say this beforehand. I would be so much less upset if Michael just had one other show currently running. Because he just doesn't have anything. Like, there's no backup for me. Like, if there was still YOLO, if there was still Koala Man, if there was still something, it would sting a little less. But it just, there's nothing. And I love Michael's work, and I need that buffer. There needs to be a buffer, you know?
Yeah.
And I wish there was that buffer still. That would make the sting so much less.
There is part of me that kind of hopes they, like, not hopes that they lied, but, like, they're going to parlay this into working on a different show as opposed to just taking, like, a larger break. Because I will attest that the burnout is real when it comes to that show, but maybe this could have been avoided if we stayed to one season every other year as opposed to having season 2 and 3 back to back. And also, you brought that up, and it made me think of Michael, because at this point, I think it's probably Michael, and maybe we won't get a reveal until years down the line. But ahead of that, because I was setting up our watch party of watching multiple different shows, we're still making our way through Ted Season 2, that the Cool Autistic Gamer started a YouTube premiere that was meant to premiere at 6, and then it was bumped up to premiering at 7 when it got closer to 6, and then it got bumped up to premiering at 8 when it got closer to 8. And then the premiere started, and it was mostly him just playing Undertale and then talking about the episode. And then the stream ended. And I was waiting with bated breath on that premiere. I thought it was going to be like a reveal that he was involved with the show somehow. That mystery is going to live on. And I'm glad that they canonized that one Yume shipper that ships herself with Alan in the episode where he paints her. That episode's most definitely about AI. But no, the chat is right. We've covered all of our major stories. But we do have our regular segment that we've been doing most weeks, which is where we go back and watch older Nintendo Directs in the order that they came out at. Right now, we are at... Okay, this is Nintendo UK, which means this is October 4th, 2012. And I think last one we watched... Well, it was just about one game, right? Oh, yeah, it was the DLC for Super Mario Bros. 2. Yes. Well, let's see what...
I actually played a bit more of that since last time we talked, and it's still fun. I like it.
Since the 3DS draft. I gotta hop on that Star Fox grind now. Well, let's see what the Nintendo Direct, the 9th or 10th Nintendo Direct from October 4th, 2012 has to say. It's whether this is a Nintendo UK post.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the latest
I hope they show off more
Direct.
new Super Mario Bros. 2.
Today I'm going to update you on our upcoming games for Nintendo 3DS and Nintendo 3DS XL from my Frankfurt office.
Those aren't really different costs.
I forgot there were weren't there new 3DS exclusive games?
Series.
There were only like a couple. I know
Xenoblade
was one of them.
Around for many years.
Oh, wait a minute. I think I know what this is getting to.
Oh, no.
I just changed.
No, you got too early.
I was like, whoa, Paper Mario!
Paper Mario Stick
Yeah!
Nintendo 3DS.
Oh, it's peak gaming hours, baby.
You will know from other Mario titles.
I want to look at these 2012 releases.
Oh, bro, is there going to be a side-scroller? I hope it's not a side-scroller. I hope it's an RPG game again.
Dude, I hope Bowser doesn't talk at all. That's my hope for this game.
Oh, yeah, my favorite part of the Mario movie is when Bowser said, "I'm Bowser, and now you're going to face my fury." And when Bowser Jr. made a Mario Maker level.
I guess this was actually after the initial reveal, because I'm pretty sure the initial reveal had, or maybe it was just like early screenshot, excuse me, where they like showed a partner, but they ended up removing the partners.
That must have been in like a sizzle reel of other games, because I remember that one clip being really short.
Yeah.
So we're at October 2012 right now.
Today, I'd like to show you a few new gameplay details that I think a lot of fun. Let's start by looking at this new cutscene from the game.
Well, I don't want to spoil it, but there's a 3DS game that comes out before Sticker Star that I don't think we've seen in these directs yet. But prior to this direct, style-savvy trendsetters, new Super Mario Bros. 2, of course. Man, DLC came out after that pretty quick. Freaky Forms Deluxe.
There are lots of fun new attacks.
We saw Kid Icarus Uprising and Mario Tennis Open that had their own centric.
and go.
Also, you know, the Wii U comes out.
Funny. I don't know, what do we call these things? Things?
That Paper Mario will
Spirits?
be in shops in Europe on December
Yeah, the Wii U
7th,
comes out
so not long to
in
wait.
a month or so after this
I also
direct.
wanted to update you briefly on two.
Oh, I forgot this. I was reading it as American time. Now it makes a lot more sense.
First, don't forget that other mustached hero with Luigi's Mansion 2.
Whoa!
Here in Europe.
20
for Nintendo
published?
3DS, which I can confirm today
Whoa.
will be available in Europe in the second quarter.
I guess it doesn't have a title yet.
Now let's turn to Pokemon. In
Oh.
Pokemon Black version 2,
Oh,
and
right.
Pokemon White
I
version
thought there was
2,
gonna be something big.
You return to the Unova region, but things have changed since
Isn't this
you
a
were
DS
last
game?
there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he said like, oh,
It's now
games
2
coming to
years
the.
later.
I mean, it is that you can play it on the
From the
3DS
start
and
of
the
the
3DS
game,
XL.
You can encounter around 300 Pokemon.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Compared to
Yeah.
150
What was the North
in
American
past
release date for
Pokemon
this? I
Black
feel like I
version
look it up every
and
time.
Pokemon White version.
I think it was
You will begin in Espericia City.
fall, like
and
spring
will
of 2000.
encounter
Oh, for that,
new Pokemon,
Black 2 and
new
White 2, I think was
leaders,
the
October
the
7th,
autumn of
2012.
new adventure.
Oh, this was like right before it came.
Yeah, it was
Right
3
after
days
it came-
before.
Right before it came out.
Pokemon White version 2 will come out in
I remember
Europe
playing it on my
October
3DS.
12th.
Yeah,
On the
there it
same
is.
day, we will also launch
Wait.
Pokemon Dream Raider.
Oh, Peak?
Oh, it came out in the UK on the 12th. Okay, I see.
That you can
Look how stupid it looks.
That is really ugly. I forgot how ugly this game looks.
This title lets players catch Pokemon and get items using
That way you
the
can get them in
augmented
Black 2 and White
reality
too.
technology.
Dude, whenever
Guys,
people
we
talk
can-
about how like all the
Oh!
Pokemon
Catch
stuff are, like,
Pokemon in this
stupid
game.
and
Yeah,
shit,
we
now
didn't
I'm
talk
like,
about
dude,
Pokemon Champions. I saw someone complaining that What do you guys have any thoughts on Pokemon Champions?
I paid $7 for it, and I'm still not over it.
Because I saw like people who
I
are
haven't gotten
really
it.
people who are really into competitive Pokemon saying it's too simplistic and there's a lot of items and Pokemon
They've
missing.
removed a lot of things. I don't mind.
But
that
I've
as an
also
issue,
seen a lot of
but there
people
seems to
in
be a
my
lot of
chat and
glitches
in my
issues with, like,
server
yeah.
that are like getting into competitive Pokemon for the first time that like really like it because it's simplistic. So like I guess that the idea is to like ease people into it, but if it's meant to be like the Pokemon Showdown killer, it's definitely not going to do that.
It's not going to do that. But I saw a meme.
No,
it's like it's like it's so fun being like okay at Pokemon Showdown and just fucking like wiping the floor with these poor kids who've just got into competitive
Right.
Pokemon.
Because some
so I might actually
Pokemon
pick it up for that.
to make to beat up on kids.
I feel good about myself.
So here's
Of
the other
course.
thing too, is like I don't normally care about this kind of thing, but like I care about it because this is such a simplistic game. Why the fuck is this game so ugly? Why
Yeah.
is it such an
Well, it's
ugly
because
game?
it's an iPhone
And why does it
game.
run so poorly on the Nintendo Switch? Why is it ugly and why does it run terribly? I don't get it. I don't get, and that's the crazy part. It released on the thing that wasn't even built for that first. It released on the
Yeah.
Switch first. Which is like, what are we doing here? Why have we lost the plot this much?
That's when, not to be reductive, although I will be reductive for comedic purposes. Whenever people in the chat ask me, like, oh, you got to play Pokemon Champions? I'll say, no, sorry, I don't play iPhone games. I only play Switch games. Because, like, but the thing I wanted to bring up, because this reminded me, seeing all the weather trio trapped in this game, that I saw someone upset that to use Eternal Flower Floette in Pokemon Champions, you had to play Pokemon ZA to, like, unlock it. And they used the term, like, locked behind gameplay or something. And I get the argument they were making that, like, oh, you have to buy a whole nother game. But, like, that's what Pokemon is. And the
also,
idea that...
that's the situation we've had for 30 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, you have to. I mean, right now they're kind of implementing new features, I guess. And I guess you can still argue that accessibility should be an issue, especially if you want to take Pokemon seriously as a competitive sport. I think that's why mythicals aren't allowed in, but legendaries are. You know, you can use like Dialga or Groudon in certain competitive formats or VGC formats, but you can't use the mythicals because they're only distributed in like limited releases and you can't like consistently get new ones or whatever. Anyway, all that's to say is that like we're not actually that much worse off. We're better off than where we started, or we're in that sense we're better off than we were in a pre-Pokemon Champions world.
Yeah.
So I guess I still get the criticism.
Well, the same thing that Dan brought up as well as the game being ugly is that the idea, the conceit, the fun part of having a game like Stadium or Coliseum or Battle Revolution is like, whoa, now we could see these Pokemon battle in 3D. And that doesn't really exist when like the game looks worse than the current Pokemon RPGs we're getting. You could see the Pokemon battle in 3D. It's more of like a down-scaled version of that. If they did the Pokemon Showdown approach and just made them like generic sprites or something, I don't know if it would have been received better, but I've definitely seen a lot of graphical issues with it.
And what's more,
yeah, see, this is how you get them. This is when they released Landform Landorus into the world. They should have kept him in that game.
They should have not done that.
I never did this, by the way. Like, I didn't know that you could do this.
I don't think I had the patience for it. I think I tried it, but I just never really.
Whoa, proto QR
codes. You can
codes.
see from my friend here.
I forgot how big that one card was.
I think it's because he held it close
There's
to
like
him.
one card that you have to fold out. No, there's like one card that's like massive.
Oh, big
that you have to
Pikachu.
like fold out like a mat.
Which will be available in your
Here we go.
November.
Peak gaming. Peak
Right.
gaming hours right now.
Pokédex 3D Pro has information on more than 640 Pokemon from the
That's all of
entire
them.
history of the game series.
What the hell is that idle animation? Ew!
Great reference tool. It also includes a
Squirter.
Pokemon challenge, a variety of quizzes to test your Pokemon knowledge.
Oh hell.
Do you think
School.
you know your stuff?
Yeah, it's a
so you can
Jigglypuff,
see
looked
what
from
the quiz
above.
is like. Let's see if you know the
I remember
answer
that.
to
I
this
remember those
question.
days.
That's Slowking, baby.
That's like an all-time gag in the anime, all things
Answer
considered.
later in the presentation. A date for
I guess
your
they just like, you know, they were still
Pokédex
developing a
3D
3D
Pro
Pokemon
will be
game.
available from
It
Nintendo
seemed like
eShop
this is
from
the
November
3DS sort of
8th.
like, at least for Pokemon or for most of the
That
games,
reminds me,
is sort of like the
you
Switch
just
2
got a
situation
few
where they're
days
like,
left
oh, we have
to
stuff
get
for
a
it, so you
very
could play this other
special
game.
Mythical Pokemon called Keldeo for your Pokemon Black.
Dude, this
version
reminds me
and
of like
Pokemon
when my
White
sister
version
told
games.
me, I asked her if she was gonna get
From next
Tomodachi
week,
Life.
you will also be able to
She's like, oh, I
receive
wanted to, but I don't have a Switch 2, and I was able to make her day.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
was able to
dude,
give her some good news.
that was the other thing I saw when
I
people
felt
were
like-
talking about
I felt like
pirating
an
the
evangelist.
that were talking about pirating the game on TikTok. They're like, I don't want to pay $500 to play this game, or like $300 or whatever.
It's like, oh
my
ooh, I've got
God.
something.
Well,
I'm about
like,
to make your day.
but they were people who like didn't own a Switch. Like they're just like, I want to play it on my computer. It's like, how do you even become a fan of Tomodachi Life? Like, I don't understand. Like, not that
Dude,
you know, you
Tomodachi Life is kind of like a performative. I don't actually play video games, which I love it.
like you should
You know
at
what I
least
mean?
want to play like Animal
Yeah,
Crossing
you're
on your
not
Switch
wrong.
Lite or something. Like it's been nearly a
Pokemon Black
decade.
version 2 and Pokemon White version 2 games.
Is Keldeo
No,
exclusive?
Pokemon
Not
Meta,
exclusive,
just
but
like
Pokemon fans should look out for.
Kelio's mythical.
Will be
Yeah, but was
releasing
it
a
introduced
very
in Black 2 and
limited
White 2?
edition New Nintendo 3DS
Yes.
XL
Okay.
No, it wasn't.
this
It
year
wasn't.
in
It wasn't.
Europe.
The Resolute
It
format
will
was,
be
if I
a
remember
Pikachu
correctly.
see.
But like,
He's coming at me.
XL.
They got the Foxy Pikachu
It will
3DS.
only be available in if you are Pikachu.
I forgot about that.
Make sure
Oh, that
you
takes me
don't miss
back.
out.
Where's he got nipples?
I also have a bit of news now on New Art Academy.
Oh?
You may remember we told you about some custom lessons you could receive from Nintendo.
Yes, I remember.
That's from a previous
Nintendo
direct on a previous week.
In the first lesson, the Goomba custom lesson, we'll
Wow.
show you how to draw your very own Goomba. completely
That's the
from
movie
scratch.
shading.
Oh my god.
We'll be sending
I was like
this
worried
out
for a second.
by
I'm like,
spot pass from today.
hmm.
So make
I
sure
don't know
you
about
check
that.
the
He's got
custom lesson
veins.
section of your game.
I was like waiting for them to do the rock Maui Goomba. Just like I was thinking it was gonna turn into that for a second.
Setting option in your game, and turn on the spot
It
pass
reminds me,
option,
you guys know that like
or you will
Caillou video
receive
where he
a
puts on
notification.
glasses and it's like an edit where it's like his parents.
Yes.
Like,
Oh, I love that
it's
one.
like I saw someone like post like that clip unedited, and someone responded like, "Oh, I shuddered like an abused animal when I saw it."
You have been trying to collect 1,000,000 coins in New Super Mario Bros. 2. Then pay close attention to this video.
Oh? Oh, okay.
Guys, wait, New Super Mario Bros. 2?
For all the people that suck at that game. This gamer fucking sucks at New Super Mario Bros. 2.
He is so bad at the game.
He's doing a Let's Play. Do you remember when they did this in one of those Smash Directs because people couldn't get that Pauline spirit? So like, this is how you do it.
To be fair, that spirit was bullshit, and I still stand by that to this day.
I forgot what
I don't know
what the issue with it was. I think I remember having trouble with it, but I did beat it.
It was because you couldn't. It was Donkey Kong and Peach, I think, right?
Yeah, it was on the 75mm stage. Or 75M.
And it was such a BS one. I don't know which. I can't remember if that or Wily was worse. They were both pretty bad.
That was the one I had the most trouble with. Man, I want to go back and do World of Light. I haven't done that like since the game came out.
Wait, which one do you have the most trouble with, Wily or Peach?
I think Pauline.
If you enjoy
But I do have a chip on my shoulder because I did beat it before they released the tutorial. I also unlocked all the characters before they patched the game to make the unlockable character AI weaker.
Oh, I remember that too. I did that as well.
On how to do this at our
By the way, this is something we thought of when we were playing Mario Kart the other day. I don't think they're gonna do it, but back when like we're like, oh, there's gotta be Donkey Kong related DLC because Donkey Kong and Pauline only have one costume. I wish they would do the Rosalina thing in Mario Kart Wii, where if it senses you if you own Mario Galaxy, then it'll just give you Rosalina. I wish it would do that with like other Nintendo Switch 2 games. They're not going to do that. Like they're probably gonna do paid DLC.
I mentioned that when you were talking about Pokemon and having to buy like other games. Like I specifically remember in Mario Kart Wii, if you had Mario Galaxy save data, you unlock Rosalina.
Right.
Well,
you could still unlock Rosalina in that game. It was just more difficult.
You can, yes. You can. It's just, I like that, like, that is a childhood memory.
I think it's fun. I think it's fun where, like, maybe it's because I already own all these games, but when, you know, you can get a Jirachi and
these days. Let's have a look at the results.
He is the only person we've seen in these directs that looks even a little bit presentable. Everyone else is kind of like schlubby.
I love this. This is great. I like this a lot.
He's mogging. Dude, that rules! Wait, that Mario shirt's on. Where did you get this? That's awesome.
Can't we buy that?
Look out for.
Dude, I keep you know that image after the Pro Jared stuff happened where he's wearing a shirt that says canceled on it?
Now I'm going to move on.
Yes.
I've always really wanted to get that shirt and he won't. Every time I add him, he won't respond. I really want to know where he got that shirt from.
That will be available from Nintendo eShop very soon.
They should come with the shirt.
In December last year, we released the puzzle game Pull Box.
They also released the Wii U this year, but sure.
Download on Nintendo eShop.
That's not about
now
this. It's about Push.
You liar.
On another adventure in our
what did he call it?
Called Pull Box.
Pull Box.
Oh.
As you might guess is from the
is it because this is like a Nintendo UK thing?
Also fall into place,
yes, it is.
allowing for new gameplay and
Yoshi's universal
this
gravitation.
Time, you can view the puzzles from any angle and move the blocks
Rhythm
on the ground
Fever.
freely.
Ooh.
In addition,
They should have done the Resident Evil thing and called it Rhythm Groove Heaven.
Instead of children.
I know.
There are 140 new levels.
Guys, I don't know what
in
this
the
could
new
be.
games, as well as 90 training levels. Don't forget,
think it's
you can also
Santa
create
Claus.
your own levels and save them as a QR codes. Get ready to puzzle.
We can build
God,
QR
the fact
codes.
that Pushmo is stuck on 3DS
Oh, it's
and
called
Wii U
Fall.
makes me upset to know.
You haven't
to
You'd
know
think they
of
just
it.
want to port it like they did Box Boy and Box Girl.
Exactly. Exactly.
We'll be
You can't even use the excuse that like, oh, it doesn't work it doesn't work as well on the not 3D space because it's on Wii U. There's a Wii U version.
We will offer you in the next couple of weeks.
I'm gonna cry.
For 6
now I'm thinking
weeks
about my
from
boy.
October 4th, you can get the different titles each week in Nintendo eShop for less. After Pull Blocks will be Colors 3D, followed by through Pot Swords puzzle. Keep an eye on Nintendo eShop to find out the
never
other
heard of
games
that
and
last
the
one.
price
Bro, hop on
information.
Colors 3D.
Next.
I like Colors 3D. I play
Everyone,
Colors
we're gonna
3D.
get a call. We're gonna Colors 3D.
This is coming to Europe on October 11th and is the story of a young
I
samurai
know
who
a
sets
good amount of
off
these
on
titles because when the
adventure to
3DS
save Princess
announced that it
Cherry
was
Blossom.
closing
He
down,
must master
I wanted
the
to
art
like
of the sword and defeat
legally,
and
quote,
four
quote,
enemies
Right.
get a
in
bunch
this sword
of
fighting
exclusive
action.
titles.
I did the
So
same
play a
thing
lot of-
too.
The
And I
impact
played
of
Harmo
this
Knight.
game is
pretty
to
fun.
anticipate and dodge
Oh, Harmo Knight.
enemies attack.
That's a
You need
blast
to
from
be
the past.
precise
Remember,
with your skills.
I think it was
Simply
Card
swinging
Jockey. Was
your
that a
weapon
3DS
around
game?
won't work.
I don't know.
Wait for an opening and
Pomni
strike
Jockey.
with timing and precision.
Mario Tennis.
As well as the main adventure, you can take
I'm
on
like
survival
waiting
and
for it to
attack
happen.
modes. Look out for this game
I guess they
on
won't
Nintendo
announce it for
eShop
Europe
next
because it
week.
doesn't come out until.
You may have
So sorry,
played
spoilers for this
Hydro Adventure on
timeline.
WiiWare, which was
It's
released in
October 4th,
2010.
2012.
Now we have a
Animal
new
Crossing
game,
New Leaf
Hydro
comes out
Adventure
November
Spin
8th,
Cycle,
2012 in
made
Japan.
exclusively for
But it doesn't
Nintendo
come out until
3DS.
June in America and the UK. So maybe
story
that's why they're not
involves a
mentioning it.
book in a
But if this
wizard
is like
probably
the
why.
if this is the
Illustrated
upcoming
with
3DS games, like it's
pictures
kind of
of
nuts that we haven't
fantastic
heard
worlds.
about.
The
Well, we
wizards
haven't seen
decide to
New
bring
Leaf
them
on
to
any of
life
these directs
using
yet,
the
right?
magic of the gentle
No, we
rainbow
haven't.
spirit.
Well, I don't think we watch. I don't think this
However,
is only a
another
playlist of
substance
English
on the
ones.
potion shelf.
You'd think they'd still want to
Since
show
this
off
magic
New Leaf.
and
It's
is
weird that like,
envious of the
dude,
rainbow
Flash
spirit's
game on the
power.
3DS.
When it's 8 months
So
away,
Blue
I wouldn't be
invades the book
surprised if they'd want
and
to, kind
traps
of
the
keep it under
rainbow
wraps.
Okay,
spirits,
but hear me out.
slowly
Where is
draining
the
their power
update
for
for
itself.
Louvre?
Your
tour
challenge
guide?
is
We
to
need
rescue the rainbow spirits
We need an update on
and
that.
rid
Wait a
the
minute.
world of the
ASAP.
group. You do this by
Does-
tilting and
wait,
rotating
what?
your Nintendo 3DS and guiding
I think,
a mass of powerful water through the world.
Okay, so in
The water
America,
will
Sticker
gain
Star
different
already came
abilities
out. No,
through
sorry,
the
sorry.
game.
In
And
America,
later
Sticker
on,
Star comes out in
you can also
November,
harness
and then in
the
Japan
power
and
of
UK it
ice
comes out in
and steam.
December. So it
Hydro
comes out in
Adventure
America
Spin
first,
Cycle
or
will
North
be
Sometimes that
America.
happens.
December this
That's
year.
already a bad sign. That's already a terrible sign.
We showed Nano Assault Neo.
Man, we're gonna
Wii
jump into
U in the last
2013.
Nintendo Direct, where now we are
Okay,
going
well,
to
when did the
look at
Wii U
the
come out in
Nintendo
North
3DS
America? Because it
version
should
of the
also.
game, called Nano Assault EX, and available
Oh,
on
yes,
Nintendo
I remember
eShop
this game.
year.
Mankind is no stranger to
It's like
war.
quieter than the rest of the direct.
This time, the battle is on a scale unlike anything you've seen before.
It's just a regular ad. I just want to find the date for this. Okay, no, I don't want to shop for it. Okay, the Wii U was released in North America on November 18th, 2012. Okay, so the Wii U also comes out in like a month. What about the UK? Maybe they didn't get the Wii U until way later. November 30th, 2012. Okay.
But
We're getting a
when is the
fully
next
3DS-centric
Little
direct. Their new console comes out in a month.
Stop the deadly virus before it destroys
They're
us
talking
all.
about tornadoes.
God, I forgot how crazy the original 3DS looks.
Another downloadable title.
That
coming this
clamshell.
year
It's the same thing
though,
whenever you see like,
is
because I had a
Denpa
DS
Man
Lite and they always use
Taken
DS
by
Lite for
Wave.
promotion. Whenever you see just
This
like
is
the
a
original
role-playing
DS.
game in which you use your Nintendo 3DS to catch Denpa Man.
This
from
is like a
many
big
Oh, I
series,
remember this
right?
game.
Denpa Man.
Denpa
is
Man-
seen
Pretty big, yeah.
with the
Yeah.
naked eye,
Don't they have a
but
new
they
game coming
float
out?
around the radio wave in your daily
They might.
lives.
I don't remember.
After you capture them, you then go on a journey to rescue a certain special someone.
Oh shit, this
from
is
the
just a
King
mystery
of
dungeon.
Evil.
This is just Zelda.
Oh, that too.
Denpa Men can be found around you in all kind of places.
What about
They
Dempa
come in a
Woman?
wide
This was kind of
range
Pokemon Go
shapes
before
and
Pokemon
colors.
Go. This
There's
seemed
a
like the
whole
perfect
Denpa
situation for
Great
Denpa
number of
Man.
different types.
Being able to catch them AR style
They
in real
each have
life.
their own territory. So if another player goes to the same place, they will be able to catch the
Now
same
I'm seeing the
Denpa
mystery
Men as
dungeon.
you. Some of them have antennae growing from their heads. These
a
Denpa
candle.
Men each have a special skill they can perform.
I think this is an
There are
Adventure
lots of
Time
different
character.
skills, including some very
Dude,
rare
I watched
ones.
that one recently. Oh, I do want to
There are
report to
sure
you guys
to be
that
lots of Denpa
I've been
Men
doing this thing in the
floating around
Patreon
near
called
you,
Weekly
so
Monday
keep your
Nights,
eyes
where I'm
open.
just recreating the Monday Night
You know
block
level
from
5
15 years
already.
ago.
As
So
a
it's whatever
company
came
behind
out
the
like,
Professor
or whatever
Layton
aired
and
on
Inazuma
Cartoon Network like
11
April
games.
2011.
The
And we
latest
recently
game in
started
Layton
Problem
series,
Solvers. We're in the
Professor
Problem
Layton
Solvers arc
and
right
the
now.
Miracle
Holy
Man
shit, it's
Oh,
Layton!
hell yeah.
on October
damn.
26th
And I don't,
on Nintendo
I don't hate
3DS.
it. Like, it's not bad.
Excel.
Problem Solvers is not
In
that
this
bad.
game,
It's not bad.
Layton,
It's
Luke,
not
and
bad.
Amy
People
will
fucking
solve the
hated it.
mysteries
And I'm just saying,
behind
like,
the
you're calling it
strange
this a
character
bottom
called
tier
the Masked
Cartoon Network
Gentleman.
show when the
And
fucking
you even
annoying
travel
orange
back
show
to
exists?
Layton's
What are we
That's not
doing
even,
here?
I even like that more than like,
And now I'd like to show you something
I'll
new.
be honest, right?
To do
Nintendo
this,
cover
I'd
your
like to
ears, but
introduce the president and
maybe just
CEO
because I
of
haven't
Level
gone back
5,
to watch them in a long
Akihiro
time.
Hino,
But in
who
doing
has a
this
special
block, like I'm
message
way
for
more
us.
excited to watch Problem Solvers than I am Johnny Test.
皆さんこんにちは
Okay, yes, that's true.
How long
but I
did
also
problem
think
solvers
as a
last,
cartoon-
though?
Like a season.
Okay, that's
No,
why.
actually,
I mean,
it got a Netflix exclusive season 2.
Right, because it didn't air on Cartoon Network.
リベレーション
We also the
And
weekly.
that also got the season 2 art upgrade
Yeah.
where everything's not eye straining, but everything has a really fucking ugly cartoon movie.
Well, my thing
It's
about
really gross.
Problem Solvers is one, if it was just an Adult Swim show like they planned, nobody would have complained about this. Like that just would have been another walk in the park, another day at the races for them.
the fact that
And-
now that I know that it was planned to be an Adult Swim show, that makes a lot of sense. 'cause I'm
And
like,
the
what,
second thing, like, whenever people talk about, like, oh, it's ugly because the background and the foreground look exactly the same and it's hard to discern, that's only really a problem with one scene in the first episode, and whenever people mention that, they always show that scene. So I'm convinced people just watch the first episode, and, you know, granted, it is the first episode.
Well, you
but-
know, there's a certain phenomenon where, like, most popular points people make about television come
Suda
from
51.
YouTube, especially for cartoons.
Yeah,
So
it's just,
one guy
it's
says
not that bad.
Everyone else says that.
I think I played this
They-
because
they
I played it when the
feminized
3DS...
touchdown.
When 3DS Online was shutting down, this was one of the few, like, online games, so I played it. I don't remember playing it, but I did. Because it was a Suda 51 game. Also, we talked over,
I
level
completely
5 and
missed
Layton.
what this is exactly.
Well, this is a different game
Miracle Mask one of the
altogether.
good ones, or is that like the controversial one? I always forget with the Layton title.
I don't know. I think I gotta
Ask
become
your
Layton
friend,
pilled.
you
Yeah, of
gotta ask your
course.
friend on the Twitter. If
Yeah,
Miracle
viral
Mask
Twitter
is a good
sensation.
one.
Yeah.
Is it the trials and tribulations of Layton, or is it the justice for all of Layton?
That's kind of an
After
insult to
that,
justice
she'll get-
for all.
Okay, fair enough. Is it the
Justice for all
trials
has
and tribulations
phase
or
4,
the Apollo
and
justice?
that makes up like 40% of the game.
I think we
so
just
it's
gotta
really
have her
hard
on the
to
pod
get-
to talk about
okay,
Layton.
Fair enough. Is it the trials and tribulations, or is it the Apollo
Nintendo
justice?
3DS.
We gotta get her a
Are
Switch
you
too
being
so she can get on the
Are you
pod.
being shallow and pedantic, or
First of the
pedantically
three
shallow?
Liberation Maiden.
I'm trying to think of like the
collaboration
most
between
controversial
Level 5
mainline
and
game.
the Suda
I would probably say just
The
Apollo
upcoming
Justice.
one,
Well,
probably.
I think people like Apollo Justice now more than they used to.
Immediately following this presentation.
That's fair.
As you know, we recently started
I think it looks the
making
best.
selected Nintendo 3DS packaged games available as downloads from Nintendo eShop.
I totally didn't mention earlier is the only thing in my notes that I didn't. That like it's interesting how vehement they were about saying Mario and Peach are only. Holy shit! Freaky Forms Deluxe. That Mario and Peach are strictly friends with like how clearly they have a romantic subplot in the movie. Like I wonder if they said that just to throw people off their trail.
Mario Kart 7.
I feel like it's just. I feel like they've gone back and forth with that.
Yeah. Well, Mario movie and Mario Peach are romantically interested. Maybe the video game Mario has a one-track mind.
And don't forget that.
I thought we were going to talk about it earlier too, that like when Mario started, he was like the human character, but as the series goes on, like the Mario is kind of just its own weird species.
It's time now to turn our attention to some new retailer titles from other publishers.
Okay.
Nintendo 3DS has already enjoyed
third
fantastic
parties.
support from a whole 1987. Published by Ghostlight.
Fire?
Shin Megami Tensei
Oh,
Devil Survivor.
that makes sense.
I always forget how old Devil Survivor. Well, I guess if that's just
That's just Shin Megami
if that
Tensei.
means Shin Megami Tensei in general, that
Save
makes
your
more sense.
friends and save yourself.
See, that's when like
It's an enhanced
whenever people say
version of
that
Shin
Joker
Megami
being in
Tensei
Smash Bros is a
Devil
big deal
Survivor,
because Persona was never on a
featuring an
Nintendo
expanded
console.
storyline
That's
and
true.
more demons to
but
fight. Let's take a look.
There's a
Shin
little
Megami
asterisk
Tensei's
there.
complicated.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing with like, you know, there hadn't been a Metal Gear Solid on Nintendo, but there had been a Metal Gear.
Well, there also was Metal Gear Solid on GameCube.
Dragons have invaded Dave and Buster's.
Oh, damn it! We're coming!
Hey.
Demon killed someone. We have to run.
They're talking to us.
You gotta get them before they get you. You have to fight.
Alright, let's see what Shin Megami Tensei is all about. If that is in fact what this is.
There's still demons.
Was that
Starro.
Starro?
Nice.
DC?
I will say that like, and maybe this is just, like a place Japan thing. But like a lot of these RPGs look a lot more charming to me when they are in the sort of limited pixel art style as opposed to the 3D models of more modern Fire Emblems or Shin Megami Tensei's.
Fight even more demons?
Is Shin Megami Tensei the one with the penis monster? Is that the one with the penis monster?
Yeah,
Like,
it has a
okay,
penis
good.
monster.
Cool.
Gonna have to narrow it down.
Cool. I forget sometimes. I know one of them has a penis monster. I just forget that sometimes.
It's like a Friends episode, the one with the penis monster.
Which one and which level, just for research purposes, and which game?
I forget what it's called. But
Fuck!
It's called like Mura or something. See if I can find a picture. I'll
Is it
send
the
it
big
to
reveal?
all my friends and family.
Get a load of this. I gotta send the Avatar movie via email.
Survivor Overclocked will be available this year on Nintendo 3DS and Nintendo 3DS.
Oh, it's
XL.
close. It's Mara.
From 7 days in the last game to 7 competitors in a game of life, or death in another title.
Do you think the UK audience fucked with Shin Megami Tensei?
Oh! Game in the Zero Escape series.
Bruh!
Following the
He used the
Oh,
Virtual
yes, I
Boy
remember
font.
now.
9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. Published by
So what is
Rising
this?
Star. This adventure
Dude,
game challenges
Virtue's
you
last
to escape a
reward.
sinister warehouse. But who can you trust to help you survive?
Is this the good? Is this the best one, or is this the one no one likes? I keep
Some people
forgetting.
really swear by it. I'm still more of a 999 person, but like you'll have people who will really
It's, so
like.
it's the third game that people don't like.
The third game's the one that's like ridiculous. But no, people love.
Okay,
Virtue's
okay.
Reward.
Cool.
Can't trust anyone.
I have not played this one yet. I'm still in the middle of the first one.
Oh hell yeah.
It does use the Virtual Boy font.
It
And
does,
you
that's
can really
crazy.
tell
I never
when in
noticed
the
that.
virtue part. They all share demons, so they all have penis monster. Mara the Dick Chariot. Game. This is no game. It's a game.
Is that Cleopatra from Clone High?
Yeah.
They had to put her somewhere.
Actually, no, Dan, close your eyes. Close your eyes. There might be some things
Oh,
you
wait,
can surmise
okay, I'm
about the
closing my
first
eyes.
game.
I'm closing my eyes.
You gotta
Yeah,
remember all
yeah,
Tell me
this.
when I can open my eyes. Tell me when I can open.
It's still going on. It's still going
Dude,
on.
there's a series I watched
God.
recently. What the hell was that? There was a series I watched recently for a video.
I
Thank
do
you,
kind
Sig.
of hate the 3D art. Well, I don't hate it, but like I do kind I do
Thank
prefer
you,
the
Sigma.
hand-drawn art in the first game.
That there's a series I started watching for probably the next video that comes out, and I thought I heard everything about it, and there was like one thing that I hadn't heard because nobody cared to tell me, and that was the thing I cared the most about because it was the one I wasn't spoiled on. Oh, and I released a sequelitis
I open
between
my eyes?
between
you
Switch
open
2
your eyes.
Ultra.
Can I open my eyes yet?
Yes.
You can open your eyes.
Virtual
That way you
Jurassic
know the
World
release
will be
date.
available in shops in Europe in November this year.
Oof, that's coming up.
In our last Nintendo Direct, we
to
introduced
save up your money.
Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, which is coming to the Wii U. Now I want to talk to you some more about its Nintendo 3DS counterparts, which will come out in Europe around the same time. The Monster Hunter games allow you to create your
I think I
own
have this game, I don't know if I've
hunters
played it.
With whom you can
Have you played
undertake
any of the
quests,
Monster Hunter
set
games?
I
It's
played
like
the new
of
one.
series
I
I've always wanted
played
to get into.
Monster Hunter
and I just
World.
never
action
did.
based. They require skill.
Is it good?
But also
It's
careful
a
strategy.
what I've
Each
heard
monster
is
has
it's
a
a sword and
unique
shield
weak spot to
situation
exploit if
where
you want
it
to
was my
succeed.
first Monster
some
Hunter
people hate
game.
it.
Variety
Well,
of
it was my first
environment
Monster
and
Hunter game,
monsters
so
is
because
huge.
it's Monster
And
Hunter
with
and I've never
each
played
monster
Monster
you
Hunter, I'm like,
defeat,
oh, that was
you
fun.
hunt again
But all the like
and find
hardcore
items.
Monster Hunter
With
fans
these
do not
items,
like it.
They can craft new weapons.
So,
and
you know,
armor.
like even the worst
That allows
Pokemon games
them
are
to
fun because they're
confront even more
Pokemon.
powerful
Similarly,
foes.
you know, Monster Hunter's Monster
3
Hunter.
Ultimate offers new locations, monsters, weapon types, and equipment sets.
That was a really good run. I like that run cycle.
Don't ever say that Smash Bros doesn't make a difference because the one thing I reacted popped off. Yeah, I genuinely have this game. Popped off big was when Rathalos showed up, and I knew it was Rathalos because it played the Rathalos theme that's also in Smash Bros.
In epic battles.
This is the other thing is I played it
I
single
forgot
player.
Rathalos is in ultimate. That's such a weird
Special
inclusion. I
multiplayer
kind
feature
of love it.
that I want to mention
This
is
Monster
that
Hunter is
up
also
to
supposed to be
3
sort of like
Nintendo
a
3DS
social
system
experience,
will be able
and
to
it's more
connect
like Dark Souls,
locally
where like if
to
you're
the
on
Wii U
the
version of
back
game.
heel, you can call other players
Finally,
to come help.
another unique
But
feature
like
in
trying to
Monster
play with my
Hunter 3
friends was really
Ultimate
difficult
is that
because me and
player
Ryu
will
and
be
Chris all
able
got
to
at the same
transfer
time. Polite
save
clap for
data
my friend
from the
Chris.
Wii U version of Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. This means you can play
Hold
the
on.
same save game on your home
Hold
console
on.
or take it on the go with Nintendo 3DS.
Hold on.
Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate for both
All right, I'm gonna look
Nintendo
away from it. It's probably
3DS
gonna play
and
this.
Mic
Wii U
just
will be
changed?
released in Europe in March 2013.
He had to get this in. There we go.
Did
There's
his
the
mic
polite
get
clap.
worse?
Let's have a look now at a roundup of upcoming
Wow.
games for Nintendo 3DS and 3DS
Angry
XL.
Birds. Let's
Skylanders,
go.
Giants. Oh, Lego Lord of the Rings. Rabbids Rumble. I like this Luigi's
Paper
Mansion
Mario, that looks
logo.
interesting.
Now for That's Pokemon Answer.
Oh, right.
Did you get it?
Yes.
I love how shitty though that fucking
I'd like
shading
to
on that
end
picture is.
one
That's a
other
really
piece of
bad
Mario-related
The
logo.
limited
news.
3D is so charming.
I already mentioned the Pikachu Nintendo 3DS XL that will be on sale later this year. But we also have a hardware bundle to announce too. A white Nintendo 3DS XL and
I
Mario
remember
Kart
this.
7 bundle will be available in Europe from November 16th.
See, when I got the console, I got it
Mario
with
Kart
Mario
7
Kart, but I
will
did get the
already
black
be
one.
pre-installed on the system. So if you are a fan of this game or the color, this might be the Nintendo 3DS XL for you.
Does anyone like
For
the color
now,
white?
I'd like to say
is everyone
thanks
like, ooh,
for
yes,
watching
white?
this Nintendo
It just gets
Direct.
dirty
favorite.
easier.
And until next time, happy
It
gaming.
does, but it shows fingerprints less.
I was about to say that, you know,
Ooh, I
fewer
didn't think about
fingerprints for
that.
whatever that's worth.
I guess it depends. Well, that is the Nintendo Direct from October 4th, 2012, meaning that the next one is October 25th, 2012. That one's the American one. That's the proper one. So we have
I
covered
don't know about you guys,
Oh.
but I'm pretty excited for this Paper Mario game. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, I mean the Wii
It's
was
gonna be an RPG. Wow.
the Wii one was a little bit
know,
of
they're
a different
listening for
direction
fans.
from Thousand Year Door, but maybe this is a step in the right direction. Well, their only way to find out is to continue this timeline and see. All the while, we are continuing our own timeline. I'm probably going to see a movie this weekend that isn't Mario, so I'll let everyone know. I'll keep everyone updated on the series. Oh, I got a question here from the YouTube chat. Would you ever do any more long-form Total Drama content? I don't know what that is. I have been your co-parent, BHultra.
And I have been your co-parent, Switchy.
I've been your Funkle Dan.
And to answer your question, I do that once a year, every year. Tune in for July. I'm hanging up.
Good night.